Tino Martinez.
I must have met about 15,000 people that said the ball was right next to them. The home run the other day, I was sitting right there. They tell me all the time on the streets in New York, and it's awesome. It's a great feeling.
What a storied seventh inning. One of the great moments of the year.
The Yankees keep scoring with championships, and you have to have that signature moment in a championship series. And that home run, that was it.
I'm sure it's up there. I don't know where it's up there because so many great things have happened in Yankee history. So it's Yankee Stadium, it's the New York Yankees. There's a lot of memories there, so it's just one of many, I think. It was definitely a moment that I'll never ever forget, and the way the fans reacted was fantastic.
The proceeding has been an explicit presentation of the Yes Network.
There's an easier way. With Thumbtack. Download the app today and care for your home from top to bottom.
Beautiful ladies, loving it. Beautiful family, jealous. Bride is the best day of your life. There's that smile. That's a keeper. Let's get the lucky men in here, huh? Oh. Ah, we got it. Groomsmen. Okay.
Some days are just too important for a trashy suit. Rent from theblacktux.com.
Justin Rose is a major champion. Flawless form, elite balance, championship consistency. See his pants?
That's fit for a pro.
We make it happen.
The Michael Kay Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
I thought he did a good job even incorporating his breaking ball, especially the first time through. I think it helped him with the changeup moving forward. A couple mistakes, but man, he couldn't ask for much more than that.
That was Aaron Boone after the Yankees 4-2 victory over Seattle last night. And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael Kay Show. We thank you for joining us on this Thursday. It is June 22nd, I believe, 2023. Michael Kay, Don LaGreca, and Peter Rosenberg with you. We're with you until 7 o'clock. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. What was that?
It's the intro. It's the intro song.
Wow.
I'm familiar.
Love it. I love it. It seems like our Hal Steinbrenner interview from yesterday certainly has taken hold. We have provided content for a lot of people around the country, both newspapers, websites, and radio shows as well. And that's all well and good. People are paying attention. And
fill me in. What's the thing people are talking about?
Hal Steinbrenner.
I know, but like, what was the point that people were pulling away from it and saying
the whole
they had to
thing?
discuss?
I mean, they're all picking apart the carcass and see what they agree with, what they disagree with, and we certainly gave people some time to go back and forth with it on this show, and we'll continue to do that today. We've got a lot of other stuff with the NBA draft tonight. You can have the NBA draft right here on 98.7, following our show at 7 o'clock, and Alan Hahn is going to be part of the festivities, so tune in for that, live from Barclays Center. But it's funny what people picked up and what people didn't. And I just thought that the thing that stood out to me the most was when Hal said, if we don't make the playoffs and we're healthy, or we do make the playoffs and we're knocked out early, then I'm going to have to ask serious questions. Now, what that means, I don't know. I don't think that people who listened to the show and those that were angry got the sufficient pound of flesh that they wanted, because they wanted Hal to come on and just scorch the earth and rip Cashman and rip Boone. He's not going to do that. He's advocates for both of them, thinks they're doing a good job, and I think that angers Yankee fans. Another thing that was picked up, and it was picked up by Brandon Cuddy in The Athletic, is when Hal said, I just don't understand why people are so upset. it's June. I'm paraphrasing that comment, but the bottom line is this. Everybody, so Brendan Cuddy solicited comments from people in The Athletic, and they said, oh, they're not doing anything, we're sick of the injuries and stuff like that. He addressed all of that, but I guess that the bottom line with him was, it's still early, we're still in a playoff position, and I'm not going to panic, and I'm not going to make panic moves or anything like that. That's what I got out of what Hal said. And, Don, I do want to tell you this one thing, which I think is important. Your address has been given to Hal Steinbrenner.
Okay.
And your check,
big news.
Your check is going to be sent to you, I'd say, any day now.
Well, that's nice. I'll look forward to seeing that.
Now, will you, in fact, ever cash the check?
I'm going to frame it.
You'll just frame the check from Hal Steinbrenner. Yes. So it's a win-win for him.
Well, listen, I don't think he's going to mind losing $20, and I'm not going to mind not having $20, but it'll be a nice little memento, don't you think?
I would probably keep the check too. I think that's a smart idea.
It'll be a fun little conversation piece.
Yeah, people come into your office and go, "Oh, Hal Steinbrenner sent you money for," and then you got a whole story to tell.
When the kids are clearing out the man cave after I'm gone, they'll have a nice little chuckle about it.
No, as they throw it in the garbage.
Right, after they throw it out.
It'll be a conversation.
But what I took from it, and we touched on it a little bit at the end of the show yesterday, is that there are two separate fans. There's the fans that call, and then there are the fans that go. So if I'm Hal Steinbrenner, and I look at the fact that right now the Yankees are second in total attendance.
Who's first, Dodgers?
The Dodgers.
Okay.
And they are first in average attendance. They're averaging 33,269 fans a game at Yankee Stadium. So everybody wants to kill him for being a bottom-line guy because he's not his dad. His dad was setting fire to money to win, which, I think is more of a story. It's more of a folk tale than actual reality. But the way we built up George is he didn't care about making a dime. He just wanted to win. And every time George looks at Hal looks at the bottom line, he's a bad guy. But beyond that, he looks at it and goes, our fans are dissatisfied? I'm number one in the league in attendance. The fans haven't, he's looking at that and going, well, they haven't abandoned us. Now, if all of a sudden the place is a ghost town, like what's happening in Oakland, then obviously you're going to raise an eyebrow and you're going to try to do something about it. But, there are a few fans that want Cashman fired and they boo Hal or whatever, but he probably looks at the bottom line and says it's not affecting our attendance. We're number one in average attendance, number two overall. So is the dissatisfaction that the fans have in this team manifesting itself in them not showing up? Ratings are high on Yes, right, Michael? How many times you've talked about the show, about they broke this record, that record. So what's a pal supposed to listen to? The few people that call the Michael Kay show and demand him to sell the team and hate him and want Brian fired and Boone fired? Or the fact that this team still has a fan base that is completely 100% invested in their team?
Well, he kind of intimated that during the conversation as well. He said, we're not seeing that. He said that's the way the fans make their displeasure known. I think there somehow has to be a calculus out there. The very vocal minority, how much does that represent? How many people are truly upset? And would you spend your hard-earned money to watch a product that you don't like? And I don't think you would, because it's expensive to go to sporting events now. So what would be the purpose of that? The Yankees have 41 wins, which is certainly not a small amount, not what they want to be. They certainly would rather be in first place. And I think that the chances of catching the Rays, while it's not zero, it's getting close to zero. It'd have to be an incredible run by them, an incredible run by the Tampa Bay Rays the other way. And you also have the Baltimore Orioles in your way, too. So I think for the most part, I guess the majority of the fans are cool with it. They'd like to win a championship. They're not going crazy. I think that what Twitter has allowed everybody to have, and social media, not just Twitter, is a megaphone. So the most, small amount of people could sound like an absolute avalanche of criticism when it's really not. But again, I don't know the calculus of what it means and how much it represents. We see it, we hear it on our show, but does that mean that most everybody is upset? I don't know. And I think that Yankee fans should give the guy credit for coming on and asking the questions that we asked. It was kind of uncomfortable, but I guess you're not uncomfortable answering questions when you feel that you have good answers.
Well, I mean, I was persistent, but he didn't answer it, I guess, to the satisfaction of the fans. But he mentioned how they have failed since 2009. I really don't know another team or another industry that can evaluate their quarters or evaluate their financial time, or in this case, a season, as a failure, and there be no accountability. And he says there is accountability. He takes accountability. But if you're calling a season a failure and yet you extend Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone, that frustrates a lot of people. So actions speak louder than words. But he said he thinks they're doing an excellent job. So what are we supposed to take from that, Michael? He says it's a failure, but yet he believes the guys that are building and managing the team are doing an excellent job. And he's not going to be swayed by the fans who disagree. He thinks Brian Cashman is a great general manager and Aaron Boone is a great manager. But yet he still called not winning the World Series a failure. So,
well, doesn't that tell you that the failure he doesn't think is on them, it's on the players?
Right.
But it's on the injuries, too.
But, Peter's brought this up, too. If you blame the players, isn't that de facto blaming the general manager? He's the one that gathers the players.
I think that's a fair leap.
But he likes Brian. So, am I supposed to tell him not to like Brian? But I think
no, I don't think he likes Brian as his buddy. I don't.
I mean he likes the job he's doing.
He's good at what he does.
He likes the job that he's doing. But I do think
But there has to be a personal connection there too at this point, guys. That's deeper than that. This is a long time.
Well, yeah. I mean, they've known each other 35 years, if not longer.
But he didn't say that, Peter. He said he thinks he's an excellent general manager, that he's doing a good job. So. So there's that disconnect. I sometimes just wonder, and we brought this up to him too. You're throwing out the word failure. Is that just supposed to be chum for the fans? Well, he thinks it's a failure, but your actions tell you don't really think it's a failure. Because if it's failure is a strong word, Michael. I would think that if a team had a failure of a season, that somebody's job would be on the line. If you've had failure, the only significant firing that has happened since the World Series in 2009 was Joe Girardi. And that was coming off the greatest regular season they've had since 2009.
And they fired a hitting coach, Marcus Timms, and they fired Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach.
But those guys will come and go. But when I say significant, I mean, an earth-shattering general manager and manager situation. So I can understand the fans being disappointed with it, but I think the overall feeling has to be you can throw around failure. He looks at what they're accomplishing each and every year as a success, both on the field and financially.
You know what? We gave him an opportunity, though, to back off the World Series or a failure, and he didn't. He doubled down. And I think that's what frustrates some. Well, if you fail, then who's paying for it? Well, I think that the people that pay for it are, hitting coaches and pitching coaches and maybe players. I don't think players have really been jettisoned because they haven't performed, but he wants to keep that narrative, and I've said over and over. I'm sure he's not taking advice from me. The organization should change that narrative. It's a lot tougher now to win World Series than it was when George owned the team. It just is. There's more layers, and there's salary taxes and stuff like that. There wasn't that then.
But it's amazing because you remember last year, Peter, we had Brian on during the summer. Michael was off, and we tried to talk about how hard it is to win compared to when they won 4 championships in 5 years, and he wouldn't have it. He says, I look at every time we don't win as a missed opportunity. He says, I think all the time about 02 and 03 and 04 and 05 and 06. So they send the narrative out there that it is World Series or bust, but the actions don't match it. So, but I don't know how you get up from it. What do you issue a press release saying we no longer are a championship or bust team? How do you do that? The horse is out of the barn.
I don't think you don't take that kind of a drastic step. You just stop saying it.
It's hard.
You stop saying it. But, the owner of the team said, no, I feel that we failed, and I failed. Well, we're in the middle of a Pinstripe Report brought to you by Corona. This just in, Oswaldo Cabrera is back with the Yankees, up from Scranton. Why? Because another player with another muscle injury, Willie Calhoun, running to first base, injured his quad. So he's going to be out. He said the last time he had it was about a month. So it's amazing. And Hal said this too. What Judge suffered, with the toe, nothing you can do about that with the way players prepare. What he suffered with the hip, nothing you can do about that. But the muscle injuries should be a concern. They should be a disappointment. You can't have quads. You can't have hamstrings. You can't have obliques all the time. They're not doing something right. They're just not.
Yeah. But he did mention that at least over the last few years, they're around the average of every other team injury-wise. He said he wants to be below.
But is that the average of, just the 26-man roster or really major players? So the Yankees have lost Rodon. They've lost Loaizaga. They've lost Nestor Cortez. They've lost Donaldson. They lost Stanton. I mean, these are all muscle injuries. It's unacceptable. You cannot continue to do that. And they've lost Bader twice. Muscle injuries.
Well, they acquired him. He was hurt.
Well, that was a foot injury, so
I'm just saying that. But we asked him about the minor league system. He said he was happy with that because of all the players that teams around Major League Baseball keep asking for. So he has an answer. Now, whether he's being fed a line by his people, I don't know, but he had an answer for all these things. The average injuries are no different than everybody else's. Their minor league system he's very proud of. Thinks Brian and Aaron are doing a great job. But I thought about this, Michael. He gets compared to his father, which is probably unfair, different era, different way to go about things. But when you compare him to other owners in sports, is there anybody that clearly wants to win more than him? Are there examples where there are teams that have a George type of atmosphere around it, Peter?
I mean, Jerry Jones is like George, hasn't won in forever. He hasn't won in forever. Fires coaches, does all the deals himself, hasn't won in forever. Since Troy Aikman was a quarterback. Anyway, that's the Pinstripe Report brought to you by Corona. Enjoy the finer life of sports. Corona, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball. This breaking news in the NBA, Woj bomb. According to sources, the Wizards are finalizing a deal to send Chris Paul to the Warriors for a package that includes Jordan Poole and future draft assets. How about that?
Wow, what?
I mean, Jordan Poole's a really good young player. That's a nice trade for the Wizards, who have no use for Chris Paul. And now Chris Paul, I guess, could play behind Steph Curry. They both don't have to have major minutes. And maybe he doesn't break down in the postseason.
That's weird. This has been a day of scratch my head. I do not understand the NBA moments.
And my condolences, Peter.
No, I'm so sorry, Peter, about Marcus Smart. Right off your album and to another team.
By the way, I know, Don, I know you're serious, and Michael, I know you're half mocking. I will tell you guys, the Marcus Smart news this morning when I woke up and saw it, I can only describe it as it hit me like, it was like little kid pain. I felt like a child having lost him.
Why?
I couldn't, because I adore him. He is the guy who I'm like, well, no matter what they do with Jaylen Brown, you know they're keeping Marcus Smart. He's mid-contract. He's the heart and soul of the team. He's every true fan's favorite player. I mean, as evidence, Don, when I was at the the conference finals this year, I was like, you know what? I need to buy a jersey. What jersey am I buying? Of course I'm buying Marcus Smart.
Of course you are.
He's the dude. And I'm sorry. Like, you and Ballard and many other people can sell me on why I should be excited about Kristaps Porzingis. What is this, Kristaps' fourth team in 6 years?
But both could still be true. I mean, even if Porzingis ends up being a great player for you, as one of your favorite players that got shown the door. I mean, it's going to hurt no matter what. Even if it improves the team, it still hurts.
Right. So, like, as a fan, even if it was a good move, it still hurts. But then but Don, the part when you go, no, hey, buddy, hey, don't be sad. You're getting Kristaps Porzingis. Do you understand why that's hard? Like, I'm sorry, that's not the guy, even if he's good. He's not the guy who eases the pain about losing a guy who you consider to be like a franchise, a forever guy. To me, I was sure Marcus Smart was retiring there.
I'm not mocking you here. I'm really not.
Seriously?
It's not a bad deal. I mean, Porzingis is a better player than you think. On that team, he could really excel. He scored a career-high 23 points a game last year. That's a good player for the Celtics.
He had one good year in Washington on a team that did nothing, even with another superstar. He had a nice season.
But he's had good seasons before. He had good seasons with the Knicks. He's a great outside shooter for a man his size. He didn't have great seasons with the Knicks, but good enough. They got a nice return from Dallas.
Okay. I mean, listen, everyone can set up the reasons why, but I can also point out it is, how long has he been in the league? 6 years? It's 2017, or is it more than that? 7 years already?
Yeah.
I mean, we're at 4 teams now. He's a good player, but Marcus Smart was a heart and soul player, the defensive player of the year. The dude who, no matter what was going on, was the guy you could rely on to be that guy for the team. And furthermore, here's the part that bothers me, guys. What position of strength were the Celtics dealing from when the deal yesterday was Malcolm Brogdon? You asked me yesterday how I felt about Brogdon. I was like, I don't know. I mean, that's cool. And then it went to Smart overnight? How do we go from Brogdon to Smart? That's crazy. To
You know
me,
what'll make you feel better?
It feels desperate.
There's a picture on social media of Kristaps with his girlfriend. I think you'll embrace him more after you see the picture.
That does nothing for me.
He's mocking you, and he won't.
He's right in my face. Right in my face, Don.
I'm not. You guys are wrong this time.
This is a day.
I'm trying. Listen, I know how Peter feels, Don. I know how he feels. In 1975, 14-year-old Michael Kay was just absolutely devastated when the Yankees traded Bobby Mercer to the San Francisco Giants for Bobby Bonds.
Yeah.
Devastated. I got over it. You know why? Because they won championships after that. And then Bobby came back. Maybe Marcus will come back. Maybe Marcus will end up being a broadcaster like Bobby did.
I could break down Peter like a football coach. The 3 or 4 ways he just mocked you with that explanation.
That was not.
I'm telling you.
I guess I'm not good at this anymore.
14-year-old Michael Kay.
Yeah.
I know where you're. Listen, I know the cut of your jib, man. I've known you too long.
You don't know me. You think you know
I know
me. Everybody
you.
does.
I know you very well, and I could dissect that you were even in defense of not going after him. You were still going after him.
But by the way, Don, don't forget, he's a very performative guy. Very performative.
No, this is not performative. I'm telling you the truth. I got over it. You'll get over it.
He doesn't care how you feel about this at all.
All the fact that 48 years old, the guy's not a great player. He's a great defender.
He's not 48.
No, he's a really good player. He's a really good player who offensively can be really solid.
It was his guy. It was his guy.
And it's every. By the way, this is, look at the comments on my IG post on Rosenberg Radio. Every Celtics fan is devastated. It was to go from Brogdon, who'd been there for a year and you didn't feel anything towards him, even though he's a good player, to then all of a sudden it's a totally different player with a totally different skill set. I mean, that's the part that confuses me. Imagine real quick, anyone listening can relate this to your team. One player is up in the deal who has a different skill set and a different history with the team, and you're going, okay, I can live with that. Then all of a sudden, it's a different player who brings something totally different to the team that you're like, wait a second, what? It felt bizarre.
If this was 1977, Michael would be telling me after Tom Seaver and Dave Kingman were traded on the same day, 2 of my favorite players all time, and I was 9 years old. Michael would tell me, oh, come on, Pat Zachary, really underrated pitcher.
Now wait a minute.
Steve Henderson
you know why I wouldn't
had
tell
some
you that?
pop. Doug Flynn,
Because
good defender.
You guys traded one of the top 5 pitchers of all time for no reason. So there was no getting out from under that. Marcus Smart. I mean, really?
But you're breaking it down.
If they traded Jason Tatum, I could understand him losing more hair.
But again, but you're talking about a heart and soul guy. Those guys, you don't just feel. Honestly, Don, sometimes it's easier to give up the superstar than the heart and soul guy.
The point Michael's trying to break it down as an actual trade, and he may be right. But even if the Mets had gotten, Tony Perez and Pete Rose for Tom Seaver, it's still losing Tom Seaver. And it's losing Marcus Smart. So, yeah, maybe they will win a championship. Maybe Porzingis would be great, but this was his guy. And so both could be true. They could improve. He could end up liking the deal, which he doesn't, but just for sake of argument, if he did, it still hurts to lose his guy.
Honestly, it would have to, lead to an immediate championship for me to go oh, okay. I mean, I can't picture it. And Natalie makes a great point. I mean, Marcus has green hair, for God's sake. How do you let this man go? He dyes his hair green.
All right, before we take a break, let me give you the Yankees starting lineup.
I don't want it.
On 98.7 ESPN, brought to you by Bigelow Tea and Corona. There is a wow moment in this lineup, guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is Marcus Smart playing?
DJ LeMay was at second base. He's going to lead off. So Gleyber Torres the day off. No, he doesn't. He's the DH batting second. See what I did there?
Wow.
Batting third and playing first base is Anthony Rizzo. Here's the wow moment. The right fielder cleaning up. Giancarlo Stanton back in the field. Yeah, back in the field. Josh Donaldson, who is now in the crosshairs of the fans, he's batting fifth and playing third. Billy McKinney, another home run yesterday, will play left field and bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing center field, Harrison Bader. Kyle Higashioka behind the plate will bat eighth and batting ninth. And playing shortstop, had his 10th home run of the year yesterday, Anthony Volpe. Domingo Germán will start against Seattle as the Yankees try to sweep the Mariners. That's tonight's Yankees starting lineup, brought to you by Bigelow Tea. Bigelow Tea is a proud supporter of the Michael Kay Show, and the official hot tea of the New York Yankees in Corona. Enjoy the finer life of sports. Yeah, Corona, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball. This portion of the Michael Kay Show on 98.7 ESPN, brought to you by Acura. Precision-crafted performance for exceptional lease and finance offers. Visit Acura.com.
I'm also aggravated, too, with our company.
What happened? Can you do it when we get back?
That was my plan. I know how clocks work.
Really? Today you learned? The redesigned GLC and GLE SUVs are available at Mercedes-Benz of New Rochelle.
Everything you love from ShopRite is now in your phone on Instacart. Get free delivery on your first order.
We just signed the lease on our third shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We've worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to CustomInk.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our Custom Ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at CustomInk.com.
Having those high interest credit cards, it felt unmanageable. My name is Belinda, and with Upstart, I was able to save money with a personal loan. From the moment that I checked my rate to getting that approval was just a few minutes. I felt relieved having the funds in my account so quickly. I was able to turn all of those, big payments into one small payment, and I was able to breathe.
Easy online borrowing. Personal loans up to $50,000. Go to Upstart.com.
I have lucid dreams almost every night. I keep thinking I have some kind of double life. Years ago, I came up with the design for a beautiful flowy dress with a pattern made from real flowers. During hard times, I go into survival mode and I have bright dreams every night. Every night, I close my eyes and I find myself inside my brain. I travel through memories and time. I just want to keep dreaming forever.
It's about trick plays, and if ever local hero, national champ, now he's home and expected to save the franchise and continue to go forward with hope as the plan on the edge.
What's up, guys? I wish this was in person so I could buy each and one of you a beer or something. Let's play the game. Hey guys, am I dreaming or can we actually win this thing?
At Colonial Penn, we talk to men and women like you every day. And today, I'd like to share 3 questions they often ask about our guaranteed whole life insurance.
Can I get this coverage on a fixed income?
I'm not in perfect health. Can I get this coverage?
What if my health changes? Can I keep this coverage?
The answers are yes, yes, and yes. Yes, you can get this coverage on a fixed income. Yes, you can get it if you're not in perfect health. And yes, you can keep it for life.
Visit colonialpenn.com to learn more.
ladies, loving it. Beautiful family, jealous. Right, it's the best day of your life. There's that smile. That's a keeper. Let's get the lucky men in here, huh? Oh. Ah, we got it. Groomsmen. Okay.
Some days are just too important for a trashy suit. Rent from thebblacktux.com.
See everything your store can do with tools from Square. Your inventory automatically restocks, so you never run low. Your online store stays open 24/7, so you're always ready to sell. Your payments are processed in seconds, so customers can breeze through checkout. And with one account to manage it all, you've got more time for taking time out. Get your all-in-one retail system by signing up at square.com today.
Bonobos presents A Course in Style with Justin Rose. Justin Rose, champion golfer with a champion swing. How does he do it? Well, let's take a closer look. Is it his flawless form, elite balance, consistent accuracy? Yes, and also those pants. Give me a little more of those pants, will you? Style, comfort, a great fit. These babies can do it all.
Wherever your tour takes you.
Where will you find your why? Grabbing hold as it sails by. During a summer full of wonder, an adventure under the stars, memories and moments connecting the near and far. When you find your spark, you find your why. This summer camp season, find your why for a better us.
I played the game I love for a long time, and now I talk about it. But today I'm not talking baseball, I'm talking straight to you. Some men get nervous talking about prostate health, especially our own. What you may or may not know is there are a few things that you can do to take control. Begin by talking to your doctor about prostate cancer screening. Take control of your life, know your score. Go to homerunchallenge.org to learn more on how to save lives and support prostate cancer research.
You can hear it here on 98.7 ESPN. That's Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. During the big games this season, enjoy a Tullamore Dew, the original triple blended, triple distilled, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Remember, when it's game time, it's Tully time. Please enjoy responsibly. Don, you had something you wanted to get off your ample chest.
Yeah, because I work at this company, so it reflects poorly on me.
All right.
All right. Our own radio station, ESPN New York, 98.7 FM,
it's a great station.
Just tweeted out, ESPN New York, out of these sports teams, who will win the next championship for New York or New Jersey? And they've got the Buffalo Bills there.
Oh.
And but it's like, oh, well, it's New York. Well, no Buffalo Sabres. So who's got the best odds? To win the next championship in New York?
Are you asking
do they have
us?
the odds, or are you
They
asking
have it.
us?
No, they have it.
Oh,
I guess they'd have to say the...
So you're saying according to the voting, Don?
No, it's according to like BetMGM.
Oh. Would that be the
has to be
Yankees
Bills.
or the Jets?
No, it's the Bills,
I'm going
which
Bills.
is moronic at plus 900. Not moronic because it's the right call. It's just it's not a New York team. Stop it. And if it's a New York team, then why aren't the Sabres there? So of the actual teams that we discuss, who's got the best odds?
The ones that we do, Jets.
The Jets are at plus 1,600. It's not the best.
Yankees.
What the F? Jets are also at plus 1,600.
Who?
There are
The
2 teams that have better odds.
Yankees.
Plus 1,600. There's 2 teams that have better odds than the Yankees.
Rangers.
Rangers are at plus 1,500. That would be one of the best, but there's a team that's better than that.
Oh, boy. Can't be the Knicks. There's no way the Knicks are better than the Yankees.
No, the Knicks are at plus 5,000. So they actually,
Well,
right
who's
now,
left, Peter?
taking this look, they have the second worst
I got
odds.
it. The New York Liberty.
New York Liberty are not on this list.
No, that's
So
just wrong.
the Buffalo, who made the list?
I don't know.
want them on the air
them
right
on the
now.
phone
You
now.
just made the list.
I want them
Who
on.
made the list and put the Buffalo Bills on it? So who's the number one team?
So the number one team, the New Jersey Devils, at plus 1,300. Second, the Rangers at plus 1,500. Yankees and Jets at plus 1,600. You've got the Mets at plus 4,500, along with the Islanders and the Giants. You've got the Knicks at plus 5,000, and the worst odds, the Brooklyn Nets, at plus 12,000. But I don't know.
You don't even care about the. You just care that the Bills.
I just don't know why. What is this upset? What? Because technically they're in New York. Do they get covered by anybody in the metropolitan area? Is there a Post guy, a Daily News guy? Is there a radio station that covers the Bills?
Greek just told me that there's a Canyon of Heroes picture next to the graphic.
Yeah, come on.
So you really believe the Bills win the Super Bowl, they will have a parade down the Canyon of Heroes?
I need to know who put this list together, and I want them on.
And the Devils wouldn't either, right? Because when they
Devils
won
would not have. No, they would not be in the Canyon of Heroes, and the Nets wouldn't be. I don't think.
Guys, it's a local
Nets
tweet.
would.
I don't know.
It's
if
a
the Nets
local
would.
tweet from ESPN
They're a
New
Brooklyn
York.
team.
Well, let me do something in Brooklyn.
Can you both shut up for a second?
I'm sorry, you're right.
No.
You guys keep saying we want to know who it is. It's a local tweet, right? It was ESPN New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Jake. It's got to be Jake who did it.
He's better than
From
that.
State Farm?
I refuse to believe it was
Jake
Jake.
Montgomery from the
I
station.
refuse to believe it's him.
He's a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
How could he?
I mean,
I'm a
big Jake fan.
He should go to the doctor.
Either it already existed on like a gambling website and he took it, or he's the one who collected it from different gambling websites and made it.
Well, if he made it, he had a stroke. He should see a doctor.
Oh my goodness!
Because he's not a dumb person. He's very smart, hardworking.
Well, maybe
according
we
to
have to get him on.
BetMGM, the Liberty are plus 170 to win the
Oh,
championship.
there you go. That's it. How do you disrespect the Liberty?
Well, you shouldn't. I mean, it's a very disrespectful list.
And where's the NYCFC? Where are the Red Bulls?
Oh, another good point.
But the Bills.
You're full of them, aren't you? By the way, Peter doesn't know it, but I actually do have an embedded microphone in his apartment. And this is, we have Peter when he heard about Marcus Smart being traded today. Ready for this? It's not pleasant.
See?
You see?
Now, considering the creep show that Michael is, Peter, why do you think he'd have a microphone embedded in your apartment?
Oh, exactly. He's disappointed that's what he got.
No, I'm actually thrilled.
I just wish. I get you're not a fan anymore. I get it.
I am a fan.
Don, those sounds are the sounds of the result of what he'd be hoping to hear. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand what you're saying.
Play the sounds again. You hear that? Not yet.
Yes?
Yeah. Don, those are the sounds he's hoping to hear, but he wants to hear what leads to those. I'm talking sex, guys. I'm talking sex.
I actually believe that could be the sound of Natalie after you guys make out.
You know what? That's just wrong again. You're just a sick freak.
Now, Anthony did reach out to Jake.
Okay.
And Anthony asked him, did you make the graphic with the championships for New York and New Jersey? And Jake did, unfortunately, text back yes. And then Anthony then said, Don thinks you had a stroke.
Well, listen, it is what you said, you know?
I'm trying to compliment the guy. I mean, I don't want him to have a stroke.
You set up an entire segment to eviscerate him.
No,
You know what happened? The last time we did that with somebody that works here, I got called the worst things of all time.
Well, I'm not demanding anybody's job.
Yeah, but you said he had a stroke.
Well, but I'm hoping because I don't want him to be this
hope
dumb.
he had a stroke.
I don't want him to be dumb because this is dumb. But I respect him, and he's a good guy. So I'm hoping there's a medical issue that obviously will get corrected and he'll be okay. But I'd rather it be that than him to be dumb because I have too much respect for him. But this is dumb.
Yeah.
How about Anthony Greek getting really nasty? He's not an Islander fan. See what he wrote?
I didn't see it.
Islanders would be lucky to go around the Belmont racetrack. They'd have to close half the track. It's too long for the 3,000 fans who would attend.
They did win 4 in a row, and it was down Hempstead Turnpike.
And for the record, I love the Islanders. Been to many a game. They do quite well.
That was really revealing by Greek.
Greek is. You know why I love Greek? He's angry.
I
He's
love
got a
it.
simmering anger.
I
in
love
him.
it, but my overall point, back to you not being a fan anymore, you at least have to understand how the fan thinks. That's how we drive this radio station. So you can't have some, maybe not sympathy because you can't understand it, but at least some empathy for Peter's plight. Can you get it? Can you understand it?
No, not really. I think he's just upset because he had an album track about.
No, you don't really think that's all.
You don't even know the people you work with, do you?
No, you know what? I don't even care. You're right.
Why do you think he was on the album?
Because Peter loves him.
I admire him greatly.
And now, when they win a title, he's going to have an entire CD on Kristaps Porzingis.
Now he's Wizards, which is like NBA adjacent. Are the Wizards the fourth team in that
town? You're just
hammering
everybody. They just got Jordan Poole. That's a really good pickup.
He's Grizzlies.
I'm sorry, Grizzlies. I'm trying to figure out.
Marcus went to the Grizzlies. Marcus is going to be a babysitter for Ja Morant. That's his job. Clean up the locker room.
Let's go to the phones. We've had enough fun. 1-800-919-3776.
Callers can be fun.
Yeah, I know. Let's go to Ross in Hartford. Ross, start it off.
Michael, Don, Peter, how we doing?
Great, Ross. How about you?
I'm awesome. First, I wanted to say, I just started watching the show this year, and you guys always put a smile on my face, and sometimes it's really hard to put a smile on. I just want to say thank you guys. You guys
Thank
are
you.
awesome.
You know what? I'm going to tell you one thing, though, Ross. Put a smile on our face. Also, listen to us on the radio.
Yes, please.
There you go. Well, I listen to you guys every day now. Every day at 3 o'clock.
Cool. Thank you.
There you go.
Well, unfortunately, what I have to say might not be a smile because of obviously how the Yankees are playing. Obviously, it's good that they won 2 in a row. It's encouraging. Obviously, with Bader back, obviously great. But, I wanted to kind of explain at least my feelings as to why many Yankee fans are upset.
Okay.
And it's because of that rhetoric of championship or nothing, right? Hal Steinbrenner said it yesterday. It's championship or nothing, right? And sure, that's fine. That's okay. But personally, myself, all I want is a championship. Every single year since 2017, I remember how I felt and where I was when the Yankees lost. I remember when DJ LeMahieu hit that 2-run home run. I was shivering. And then they got eliminated after they hit the home run. I was crying. Every single year. It's upsetting. It's depressing. It's emotional. And every single year it's the same rhetoric. Injuries, this, that. Now, I'm not calling for Brian Cashman to be fired. I'm not calling for Boone to be fired. But it's emotional. It's upsetting. And it gets frustrating. And all I want is a championship. And when that keeps happening, of course people are going to get upset. I'm getting upset. But I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon. I'm just,
No, I get it. But I'm going to tell you something, Ross. You sound younger. I mean, part of being a fan is the disappointment of not winning championships.
Right, but
I mean, you think Met fans are disappointed? They haven't won one since 1986.
Oh, how old are you, Ross?
He was 19.
I mean, come on, man. You've got a long life ahead of you. Your team's going to have chances. This is where you I'm with you, and I'm usually very supportive of the Yankee fans being frustrated, but there are so many other teams that suffer way more. At least your team's involved every single year, have a chance every single year. Think of it, you're a Met fan. This is supposed to be an amazing season, and they're almost out of it. I mean, your team's not out of it. They're in the playoffs. The season ended today, they'd be in the playoffs. You had John Smoltz on the other day saying how he thinks when Judge comes back, and if they're healthy, they could be the most toughest out in the postseason. That's suffering? That's where you kind of lose me. I understand your frustration, but a 19-year-old talking about how miserable his life is when he's got a baseball team that every year's in it.
All right, Woj has some details on the Bradley Beal deal. Washington and Phoenix have finalized the Beal trade, landing the Wizards 6 second-round draft picks and 4 first-round pick swaps. Suns are sending seconds in 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 30, and pick swaps in 24, 26, 28, and 30. Now, pick swaps, okay, if you think Phoenix is going to be good, what do pick swaps really mean? And Phoenix can't trade your first-round draft picks because you can't trade successive years, and they've already traded their first-round draft picks in the Durant deal. So they are really going for it, but I don't think that Washington got a lot of second-round picks. Who cares? Pick swaps, who cares? Washington's going to be worse than Phoenix, so what does the pick swap mean?
Right.
I think they got a lot more for Chris Paul than they got for Bradley Beal.
Seems that way.
I mean, are the Wizards going to start, selling anything that's not bolted down in that building?
They might. They just might.
I mean,
let me go with you inside the numbers. Brought to you by Eisner Amper. Pete Alonso has reached 50 RBIs before July for the third season of his career, tied with Carlos Beltran for the second most occurrences in Mets history. Only David Wright, who had 4 seasons of this sort, had more with the franchise. That's Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Eisner Amper, a leading business advisory firm helping clients create a winning game plan to transform knowledge into action for your business. Check out Eisner Amper Solutions Insight Resources at eisneramper.com/solutions. Don, please tell us about Mazda, and first introduce yourself like a proper gentleman.
Well, it's Don.
Look at you, hostess with the mostest.
How does she do it?
But no one knows that earlier today.
It's not finished?
Oh my.
Oh, come on.
But you kept your cool.
I just planted those?
Sort of. And ordered everything you needed from Lowe's on Instacart. Yeah, look at you. Visit Instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders.
I'm cooking without a recipe. I now have a signature cocktail. It's not a drink, it's an adventure. I'm giving a charming impromptu toast. I'm discussing astrophysics in a casual conversation. What? Surprise.
Blame it on Masterclass. Learn from the best to become your best with thousands of online lessons. Now just $10 a month.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. You need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleep with auraring.com.
Listen, we get that ordering a suit online can seem a little risky. That's why we have a home try-on program. Go to theblacktux.com/try. With so many good options, it might be hard to choose. We'll ship your selection to you to try out for 48 hours on us. When it arrives, put it on and make sure every detail's perfect. Once your 2 days are up, pack it back in the box, attach the free shipping label, and send it back to us. And when you're ready to rent for real, just head back to the Black Tux and make your order official.
You done yet? It's 2 a.m. Why are you still scrolling through videos? You're not paying me overtime here. If you really want to see something new, why not change those shades that have been broken for the past 2 years? Let's tap the Thumbtack app, and in a matter of seconds, we'll find a pro to install new shades.
Okay.
With Thumbtack, you can easily find top-rated professionals for every home project.
Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
Everything you love from ShopRite is now in your phone on Instacart. Get free delivery on your first order.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
Friends have been telling friends about Colonial Penn Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance for more than 50 years. and with good reason. If you're between the age of 50 and 85, it's a sure thing. Your acceptance is guaranteed because full benefits are not paid in the first 2 years. And the price? Options start at $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. With Colonial Penn, your rate is another sure thing. It will never increase. And you should know this coverage can last a lifetime.
Visit colonialpenn.com for free information and a free gift.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael Kay Show. Double-digit homers for the rookie is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Before we get to Anthony Volpe, though, we have to begin where the scoring started. Jake Bauers ripped this two-run shot in the third to give the Yanks a 2-0 lead. 9 of his 13 hits this month have gone for extra bases. In the Yankees half of the fourth, Billy McKinney goes boom. He has reached base in all 12 games since his call-up. He's hitting .317 and slugging just under 1,000. 7 of his 13 hits have gone for extra bases as well. Now to the kid in the 7th inning. Since his chicken parm dinner with Austin Wells, where they figured something in his stance out, he's hitting .273 with 4 extra base hits, including his 10th home run of the year. Yankees win 4-2. In the 10 games before the chicken parm, he was hitting just over 100, which proves you can never go wrong with chicken parm. His home run last night put him into the club of Yankee rookies with 10 or more homers and 15 or more steals in their first season in the bigs. Alfonso Soriano, Bobby Brown, and Tony Lazzeri round out the list. That spans nearly a century. Tonight, the Yankees are back on Yes, beginning with a Yankees batting practice show takeover with Meredith Marakovitz, followed by the pregame and first pitch is scheduled for a little after 7. It's the Yankees and the Mariners. Coverage starting at 6 right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
All of a sudden, he's not even going to care about Marcus Smart.
Go for it.
Cure for baldness might be hiding in your hairy moles, a new study finds.
Wow.
How about that?
This is going to be all day.
University of California, Irvine, a molecule known as osteopontin that's found in hairy moles. They believe that is the solution to a bald man becoming a man with a full head of hair. Because the hair follicles activate the stem cells for robust growth of long and thick hairs.
Excuse me?
I think you're good, though, Peter. You're not, upset about your baldness.
Yeah, I'm not trying to fix my baldness. So.
Yeah, but, I know you're not because you're a handsome bald man. But if, in fact, you could, you would.
I guess, sure. I mean, what does it require me to do?
Just
take a pill?
I guess. They haven't figured it out yet, but they think they have found the secret.
In the hairy mole.
Hairy moles.
Well, it's nice that the hairy mole has a use, because so far...
I used to go to elementary school with a guy named Harry Mole.
Is that true?
Yeah, sure. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike in Hawthorne. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey guys, how we doing? It's funny when you call up for your original and then when you're on hold for a little while. 2 quick things. First of all, the NBA is going crazy. I'm a lifelong Celtic fan. When I saw John Havlicek and JoJo White play when I was a little kid, and I'm 100% behind Peter on this one. I don't get it, but look, the NBA is nuts. And Don's 100% right. When we start putting the Bills into New York sports conversations, that guy needs to have his head examined. But the reason I called is because I just wanted to give you guys kudos on that interview yesterday. I'd never really listened to the Yankee owner before, and I thought that the questions you guys asked and how you pushed him and you showed respect for him, but you put him on the spot, I thought that he showed he really does want to win, and he gave the right answers, but you could tell underlying he's a competitive guy. And I think that was, to me, the most important thing that I got out of that interview yesterday as someone who watches the Yankees and has been watching them for a long time and who has a family that's, my daughter's a maniacal Yankee fan, as is my wife. We watch all the games. What I got out of that interview is, it's his money. He spends it, and he has a lot of expenses, and that he wants to win. He's got to be the right thing. He's got to say the right thing. But I thought you guys did an outstanding job bringing him out of his shell, per se, and talking about what the Yankees are all about and what they need to do to get better. And I just wanted to say thank you to Hal for coming on, first of all, and you guys once again showed why you do the best. You do the best job on radio, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. And I think all three of us give credit to Hal because he comes on and he doesn't have any parameters that are set up. Not that we would allow it, but we probably wouldn't do the interview if there were. Ask me whatever you want. Because when you have answers, you don't care. I mean, I have people that interview me. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to. No, I don't need to know what you're going to ask me about. I can answer anything. When you're trying to hide something, then you want to know what.
You got to set parameters.
Yeah, you got to set parameters. He's not trying to hide anything. He actually, it's not like he's trying to put lipstick on a pig. He feels very comfortable with these decisions. Let's go to Noel in Connecticut. Noel?
Hey, how you doing, Michael?
Good. What's up?
I'm calling on the Yankees. I'm a diehard Yankee fan, okay?
All right.
Something's got to give. I think Boone's got to get fired. I'm sorry. This is too much. I've been watching the Yankees forever. It does bother the fans. You know what I mean? There's no change. Every year's the same thing. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but these tickets are pretty expensive to go see the Yankees, and we're not doing it. I mean, okay, we beat the Mariners 2 games in a row. Big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but let's talk about this for a second, okay? So you want Boone fired? They have 41 wins.
Yes.
All right. They've had Aaron Judge out for at least 25 games. They've had Harrison Bader out for about 50 games. They've had their number 2 starter, Carlos Rodon, out the entire season. Probably their best reliever, Jonathan Loaisiga, out the entire season. And you're blaming Boone and they have 41 wins? I mean, if you want to blame the injury people, fine. But how's that on Aaron Boone? But changing Aaron Boone, what does it do? What does it do? Does it get those guys back healthy? No, but you don't fire somebody. You don't fire somebody for theater. No, you're wrong, Noel. Something's got to give. You know what's got to give? They've got to be healthier. They got to stop getting injured. They have to change the way these guys prepare. But Aaron Boone, you think he's at fault? He's the guy pulling their muscles? So people just want a performance firing to make them feel bad. Who do you think you're going to get as the manager?
But it's interesting because, I try to empathize with the Yankee fan about the frustration of it being called a failure and there's no changes. But you're going to fire a manager right now who's the first manager in the history of the organization to take his team to 5 straight playoffs and is on pace to do it again.
He's the first manager in the first 5 years of being a manager that has ever been in the playoffs 5 straight years.
In this miserable, disgusting, who cares, they beat Seattle twice season. They are the second wild card. If the season ended today, he would go to the playoffs for a 6th consecutive year. Now, I get it's the wild card and all that. But so should every manager be fired that doesn't make the playoffs? And if you're going to tell me, well, we're the New York Yankees, well, are you? Or are you just another team like everybody else? Because with revenue sharing, who's winning back-to-back championships anymore, Michael? I mean, the Astros have won a couple, and so has Boston. But the point is that nobody's been able to go to the playoffs every single year. Now, if at the end of the year, if you miss the playoffs or you're the 3rd wild card and get swept out, you want to make a change? But right now, you're going to fire Aaron Boone in the middle of catastrophic injuries, and his team is still 8 games above 500?
And what Noel kept saying, something's got to give. It's got to be the manager? Has Aaron Boone lost games, you think?
But if this is a conversation for the end of the season. If they miss the playoffs, I'd be all for it. If they make a wild card and get swept out of the 3-game series, Michael, then you can have a conversation because it is the same old, same old. But can we see where this ends up? They're not miserably out. They're not the Mets. The Mets, there's 3 teams worse than the Mets in the National League. I mean, I think there's more of a conversation to fire Buck than there is Boone. I'm not even saying they should fire Buck, but you're not even having a Met type of season.
You're done. I love Buck. Don't want him fired. There's absolutely a conversation about firing him, though, that does not exist for Boone. How would you justify? Explain in the meeting. You go, yeah, Aaron, we're really unhappy with how you're doing. You're only 8 games over 500 with your MVP out. I don't understand how that would work.
And I love that.
Well, something's got to give, Peter. Something's got to give.
It's so revealing. So they beat Seattle twice. So what? Oh, well, you won 2 games. without your best player. Like, so that's obviously somebody that you'll wake them up in October. And so there's nothing that can please these people. I'm sorry. I don't care how good you are. You cannot win a World Series in June. What you try to do is keep your head above water. So don't make those 2 wins against Seattle like, so what? Those are 2 wins that you were having trouble getting without Judge. Every win they get without Judge, Michael, is a small miracle considering how poorly
I got to
they've
tell you
hit.
what, to all you people that like have this anti-Boone thing going on, if you could somehow resurrect Casey Stengel, they would not have more than 41 wins right now.
Who?
98.7 ESPN's coverage of the NBA draft is presented by your Tri-State Acura dealers. Precision crafted performance. For exceptional lease and finance offers, visit Acura.com. I think the Knicks have to make a move. I'll tell you what it is when we get back. NBA draft is tonight. You can hear it here at 7. All of that stuff is going on, so stay tuned. Kay, LaGreca, Rosenberg, and you. But first, Peter wants to tell us about a car.
Justin Rose is a major champion. Flawless form, elite balance, championship consistency. See his pants? That's fit for a pro.
Everything you love from ShopRite is now in your phone on Instacart. Get free delivery on your first order.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
Beautiful ladies, loving it. Beautiful family, jealous. Bride is the best day of your life. There's that smile. That's a keeper. Let's get the lucky men in here, huh? Oh. All right, we got it. Groom's bed. Okay.
Some days are just too important for a trashy suit. Rent from theblacktux.com.
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. You need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleep with auraring.com.
Look at you, hostess with the mostest.
How does she do it?
But no one knows that earlier today.
It's not finished?
Oh my.
Oh, come on.
But you kept your cool.
I just planted those?
Sort of. And ordered everything you needed from Lowe's on Instacart. Yeah, look at you. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders.
Get tools that bring every angle of your beauty business together. Clients can book online 24/7 for multiple services and multiple staff, so scheduling is simple. And with client notes and stored payments, you can offer seamless checkouts, so clients keep coming back. Run your beauty business with tools that bring everything together. Get started at square.com today.
Veterans heal. What is your healing power? Find out at healvets.org.
They give the Celtics an A for the trade. All right. Well. The Memphis Grizzlies get a B for getting Marcus Smart. The Wizards get a C for their deal.
Well, are the Wizards even trying to get A's right now?
Well, they're trying to get draft picks for sure. Well, anyway, here's what I wanted to talk about when it comes to the Knicks. The Knicks have a decision to make, and that decision revolves around their two young players, Obi Toppin. Well, we'll start with Obi Toppin first.
Okay.
As long as you have Julius Randle, Obi Toppin is a redundant piece who's never going to be used as much as an 8th pick in the draft should be used. Just not. So they have to make a decision. Are you keeping Julius Randle? Because if you are, then Obi Toppin is a non-person. You heard the story that came out yesterday, right? Obi Toppin got in the face of Tom Thibodeau
after Game 4.
Game 4.
Yeah, that supposedly after Game 4 in the locker room, he was yelling at Tibbs and calling him stupid. And Don and I were discussing yesterday whether that means anything or if it's just the kind of thing that happens in the heat of the moment. But it's there.
Well, it's not what you want. Let's put it that way.
No, but
Tibbs doesn't
after
seem like the kind of
losses,
guy
I bet you that happens more often than not.
Yeah, but it comes out now. All right, so as long as you've got this guy who's not going to play and is going to be unhappy, and you have that right now, the window to extend his contract. How much is he going to want? Are you going to pay that to a player who is really a non-player? He's a non-player. Do you want to tie up that kind of money in Obi Toppin for a guy who's going to play, 18 minutes a game? Is he worth it? They've got to make that decision. So I think he could be a good trade piece. Now, if they could get him for cheap on an extension, let's say he just wants, he wants some security, and he'll sign for $10 million a year, well, then I think you do it because that could be a nice bench piece. But if he's looking to make big money, why would you do that? Same thing for Emmanuel Quickley. Now, I think Quickley, of the two, I'd want to sign him more because I think there was a role for him on the team. But there's no role for Toppin. The only other role that you could have is have him play center, and Tibbs doesn't like it. He's not a rim protector. He'd rather play the two big guys with Julius Randle. And Julius Randle, I don't know if you've noticed, everybody, he's a horse. He's not going to come out of games. He doesn't want to come out of games. He's a 38 to 42-minute a game player. What does that leave Obi Toppin? And you saw the way Thibodeau used him against Miami. He doesn't love him. He doesn't love his game like that. So that could be a trade piece for them. And maybe they could move up in the draft tonight. I'm not quite sure. But one thing you do, if you do sign him to an extension, because of the rules of the CBA, you can't trade him for a while going into the regular season. So the Knicks just might have to gamble and leave him signed to the contract that he signed to, and then he becomes a restricted free agent at the end of the year. So in The Athletic, Fred Katz polled 10 people in front offices, and they said that Toppin should be within shouting distance of about $12.2 million, which is the mid-level exception. So 10 of the 15 people range from 10 to 15 million a year. The largest suggested contract came from one person who said $60 million over 4 years is fair. So you're looking anywhere from 10 to 14 million. Peter, do you want to pay Obi Toppin that to be the backup to Julius Randle when you could get a player like that a lot cheaper?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the fact of the matter, but then it requires making a decision. How in are you with Julius Randle? You have to decide with one of them what you're doing, because one of them has to be a major part of a move, right? I don't see there being. I don't know that I see there being a meaningful move this team can make without Randle or Toppin being involved.
Or Quickly, too. Maybe Barrett. You can make it. I think Barrett's contract is something that could be absorbed. So the big comparison that people have for Toppin is Brandon Clark of the Grizzlies. So he signed a 4-year, $52 million add-on deal. Clark is a guy, comes off the bench, kind of a spark plug. But you know what? He's in there in close games. He's in there in big playoff moments. He's an offensive rebounder. He can play defense. That's not Obi Toppin. That's not. Clark was used down the stretch in playoff games for Memphis. Obi Toppin sat on his butt. Not because he wanted to, because Tibbs doesn't believe in him. So, again, this was a lottery pick. And he was the player of the year in college. But he doesn't fit the way Tibbs wants to play. So why is he on the team at that kind of money? I mean, they could take the path of least resistance and let him play out the final year of his contract and then see what he gets on the open market. Same thing with Quickly. But again, of the two, I think Quickly didn't help himself with the postseason that he had, but he did sprain his ankle. But I'd rather have Quickly come back because that's a good backup to Brunson. What does Toppin do? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So that's a decision the Knicks have to make.
Not to mention, you're right about the minutes part, Michael, and I think I'm on the same page as you, is that I just don't know that I've seen yet what Knicks fans seem to see in Toppin. Like,
you know what they see? You know what they see? They fall in love with draft picks.
That's it.
And the fact that he's a New Yorker.
That's it. But if Tibbs isn't going to play
him... It's a nice story.
It is a nice story, and he seems like a nice guy. But if the coach doesn't like playing him, what are we doing?
So what are you losing? Like, so forget about what he is or what he could be. If the coach doesn't believe and doesn't play him in big spots and big minutes, then what's either get rid of the coach who's going to play him more, or let him go and bring in somebody that the coach will believe in and play more minutes.
And I believe he has some value, Don.
Yeah,
especially at the money he's going to make on the final year of his rookie contract. He has value. So I don't stay with a guy just because he's a draft pick and he's a local kid. If he doesn't fit what the coach believes he needs, then he's got to go. I'm not going to give him more money. Because the more money you give him with an add-on contract, the more difficult he is to trade. Right now, he could be a nice piece if you're trying to match up salaries. You have one big star, whether it's Barrett or Randall. And we heard today and also late last night that the Knicks are, in fact, or they were engaged with the Clippers regarding Paul Pierce. A lot of people go, oh, don't go near him. He's never healthy. Well, you're not going to get a pristine player in a position like this. You're just not.
No.
He did play 54 games last year. Didn't play in the playoffs, but I think I'd take my chance with Paul Pierce. Paul George. I keep saying Paul Pierce.
Yeah, Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a chance with Paul Pierce.
Hey, he put on some weight. He smokes a lot of weed. I don't think you want him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Paul George. Would you like Paul George, Peter?
I'd be more excited about Paul George than Kristaps Porzingis. Not that I don't think Porzingis is a good player, but yeah, I think Paul George is a player worth pursuing, depending on what you're giving up. Some, as I've said, there's only one player to me who's unmovable for the Knicks, and that's Jalen Brunson. So if you can add Paul George to a team with Jalen Brunson, I don't know, man. That's Michael. That's getting close to something.
Yeah. Paul George is a heck of a player.
He's a real legit scorer. He is the guy you can count on giving the ball to late in the game.
Now, I was listening to Barton Hahn today, and somebody said, I forget who it was, but somebody said, well, the Clippers, they want to get rid of George because of the contract that he has. They don't want to pay the tax. Steve Ballmer doesn't want to pay the tax? Steve Ballmer could buy the NBA. Not even blink. Yeah. He's probably got the money in his glove compartment. Steve Ballmer doesn't want to. I mean, if Steve Ballmer doesn't want to pay the tax, then we've got some issues. I just think that they look at the team they've constructed. Kawhi Leonard never plays. Kawhi Leonard is the one who engineered the whole thing, getting Paul George there. He initially wanted Kevin Durant. Durant said, no, I want to go with my buddy, and that turned out to be a bad move for him. But Kawhi Leonard's always hurt, so maybe they figure, let's see what we can get for George. And also reset the tax. Because it's not just money. I'm joking around about Ballmer. When you go over that second apron, you're losing a lot of things. You're going to really lose the ability. You don't have the veteran exception. There's things you can't do to build your team. A lot of teams are going to try to avoid it. The new CBA almost makes it impossible to have three major stars on the team. That's what they wanted to do. They don't want guys teaming up and going on one team. 1-800-919-3776. The ESPN New York Beach Bash hits the Jersey Shore on Friday, June 30th at Bar A in Lake Como for 2 live broadcasts and an appearance from DiPietro and Rothenberg. They're going to give away the All-American Ford Bronco. It all kicks off with Bart and Hahn live at noon, followed by the Michael Kay Show from 3 to 7 p.m. with giveaways for fans in attendance and music from the Moroccan Sheepherders. It's all brought to you by Patron Tequila, Stoli Vodka, BetMGM, All-American Auto Group, Calandra's Bakery, and Flight by Yingling. You must be at least 21 years of age to enter. I do want to remind everybody, tomorrow I'm flying to London.
That's right.
So we will have Sunday Night Baseball at 10 in the morning on ESPN. And I will be doing the game alongside Alex Rodriguez and Tim Kirkshin. So tune in at 10 a.m. And I just found out that Marcus Stroman is pitching in that game. He's been pitching great. So I'm looking forward to watching him live.
You want
10 a.m. Sunday. Please tune in. And Don and Peter will handle the show tomorrow for sure.
That's right.
Oh, are you kidding
That's the
me?
plan.
I already approved with management a 4-hour Marcus Smart retrospective in Boston. It's going to be
Really?
something.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
you've already cut the promo, and here it is. Where is it? I thought, oh, here it is.
What did I do?
Good.
That's it.
4
That's all
hours
you
of
got
that.
for me.
You deserved it.
4 hours of that.
Just don't get it, dude. Now, did I hear...
By the way, he doesn't get it.
Did I hear Alan Hahn right yesterday? That there's an
What's that?
avenue in the future that the Knicks can get Embiid?
Yeah, if he wants to be traded.
I'm just saying. It was interesting conversation.
Brian Hoke of MLB just tweeted out that Aaron Judge has advanced to pool balance and strength work, according to Aaron Boone. They hope he can resume throwing and possibly light hitting by the end of this week.
All right, so what does that mean? Light hitting. So it could be 2 weeks away? Because he would probably have to go for a rehab stint. So is it realistic to think that you can have him July 4th?
No, I don't think so. I keep saying if they get him back before the All-Star break, they should be thrilled.
Well,
I
the
mean,
All-Star
I'm rooting
break's
for him to be back
coming.
next week in Oakland, but I don't see it happening.
Well, I'm just saying. All right, so where do you go from light hitting?
Then you intensify workouts.
Right. And then a rehab stint or two in Somerset, wherever they are. So I guess
If he's in Somerset, you're going, right?
if I'm available.
Well, what do you have, like a concert that night? If
I
you're
really
available.
don't know what we have planned. There's always something going on. Always something going on.
Let's go to Brian in Milburn. He does not like the trade for the Celtics, Peter. What's up, Brian?
Go ahead, Brian.
Hello?
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, hey, how you doing?
Good.
I'm sorry, I was on the Bluetooth. I'm so sorry. I want to say that trade that Boston made today was a very bad trade.
Go ahead.
And I think you can't trade your heart and soul then expect to win a championship. They was very close.
I agree.
But, they were. And I want to thank y'all for putting Howell on and sometimes having Brian Cashman. At least our owner and our GM do ask the questions while a lot of other owners and GMs duck and don't never ask the questions. Thank you.
You got it,
Thank you,
Brian.
Brian.
You know, one thing I would say, and I'm not even joking about this, Peter, the way you're set up, it looks like there's a rainbow over your head. Look like you're a deity right now.
Yeah.
It is the childhood rainbow from my bedroom, yeah.
Okay, so he's the heart and soul of a team that hasn't won a championship.
Yeah, but it's a team that went to a championship 2 years ago, absolutely pooped the bed this year in the conference finals. But a damn good team. I mean, this is a team. Let's not act like the Celtics team is a failure. Who are you, a Yankee fan? I mean, this is a Celtics team that competes. They're right there every year.
I was actually going to say that. So Yankee fans would freak out about what the Celtics have done.
Well, no, they should want something like this. The Yankee fans should want this. I don't. I'm happy with where they've been. I think the move is probably to move Jaylen Brown, who I don't think is going to be there forever, and who, frankly, I don't think stepped up the way they wanted to when it mattered. And he's not a heart and soul guy for that team. And you could probably get a huge haul for him because he's an All-NBA player. That's the move I would have considered. I just don't get it from Marcus Smart. And as for the caller's point on the conversation with Hal, I thought it was tremendous. And you guys know I much prefer the Hal interview to the Cashman interview. I always appreciate Brian giving us his time, but he generally stalls us out with each question for about 12 minutes. And Hal really, I think Hal, you really get a real person's honest answers, which is pretty rare for someone in an ownership position.
You know what I'm going to try to do, and I don't know if he'll do it. I doubt that he would, but I'm going to start working on it behind the scenes.
Okay.
I'm going to try to get Brian on here with an agreement that he will take phone calls.
Now, I got to tell you, Michael.
Yeah.
What have you been doing? I don't know if you that you've been. Can you do it before the summer book? I mean, that's brilliant what you just said.
The summer book is today.
Oh, you're such a hack. Then you got to wait for the fall because that's too good. Are you kidding me? If he say yes, I mean.
And no, every book is important, Peter.
You know, it's a great point by you. But that is, well, I don't know. You think he'd say yes?
I don't know. I mean, I would probably say no if I were him. Because, I mean, he's only going to get vitriol and hate. Although, you know what? If people called in, they'd lose their guts. They wouldn't say anything. Hello, Mr. Cashman.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would call screaming and cursing, but wow, that would be great content, though.
Yeah, we like to program other stations' shows on TV and radio.
And I also got to say something. I got to give a shout out to our boy RJ Santillo, who I was listening to the morning show yesterday, 2 days ago, late at the end of their show, and they were having a conversation about Aaron Boone's interview with John Boy,
right,
and how he got upset, and basically Rick and Dave were talking about how out of character it was, and I appreciated RJ jumping in and played clips of the multiple times Boone got clearly annoyed during our conversation.
Oh, I did hear that. Yes, it was.
That wasn't because I was a little surprised Rick and Dave didn't know that. I mean, Aaron got annoyed with us, particularly you, on multiple occasions. I just wanted to get our credit for the work we did when we had the man.
No, we did unbelievable work.
Some say the best.
And they didn't play the clip, unfortunately, but it wasn't like Aaron went nuts.
No, I thought he was very measured. He just
was
said,
measured, but he was condescending, go back, think about it, and you'll have a different opinion. But it was fun. It wasn't like hatred or anything. They should have played the clip. I was listening to that too, Peter.
Good old RJ. I wish I didn't feel the way I do about him.
I can't wait till you get a couple of whiskey sours in you at the wedding, and you look him right in the face and go, you know what, you're a real son of a you know what. And then I start hearing security running, and people are trying to pry your hands from around his throat like Homer and Bart Simpson. It's going to be something.
I wouldn't say anything to him like that. I would just blindside him and punch him right in the face.
Wait a minute, so that's better?
No, I'm not saying it's better, but that's just my plan of attack.
Really, you feel that strongly that you would beat him?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious about the decision, too, but not to the point where I'm mad at him or want to punch him in the head.
I get mad about things. I take things personally. So what he did was he had the choice to stay here, and you knew Andrew Gumling was leaving, and stay here and be the producer of the afternoon show. And he decided, well, let me upend my life, and I'll get up at 3 in the morning every day and do that. So that's how much he hated us.
Michael, not everything's about you.
I said us.
No, but you said you take things personally. I just think he felt like he didn't know Andrew was leaving.
Oh, everybody knew it.
Really?
Yeah.
Peter, did you know?
He talked about it.
When you got the phone call from Andrew, you're like, I saw this coming.
Of course. I mean, I know what they paid him.
Well, I don't know if you guys had, prior to Andrew leaving, a couple of months prior to that, maybe 3-4 months earlier, we'd had a conversation about his future. And, he'd expressed some frustration. So at that point, sort of, it was a ticking.
Yeah, but just because you want to get out, I've been trying to get out for 20 years. I'm still here.
That's a great point.
The fact that you're trying to get out doesn't mean you're going to get out.
What do you mean you've been trying to get out? Don't slip that under the door. What do you mean by that?
I mean, not consistently, but there were times, absolutely.
You really?
Absolutely.
How far did it go?
I actually was at Shea Stadium and had a conversation with Cherno.
What year are we talking about?
This is when they moved me to mornings, Peter. When I was moved to mornings, I was out. I would do, Michael, remember, I used to pull walkouts where I would just leave without saying goodbye to people. And he offered me overnight updates, and I had to think about it. And I chose to stay.
Oh, how did you resist overnight updates?
Well, Michael will tell you, mornings were hell, right, Michael?
Oh,
it wasn't fun for him.
Well, so it's fun for you, 10 to 1. You didn't like 10 to 1.
No, 10 to 1 was brutal. I was promised that I'd never be 10 to 1.
You sang
I
a
would
song
never have a
about
show
it.
before
Why
noon.
was it so brutal? It seems like a sort of nice slot.
No, but
not when you're doing night games, Petey.
You don't know his day?
And there was no such thing as like doing shows from home, so you had to go all the way into Madison Square Garden, leave your house about 7:30. No, it wasn't fun. When you got home, and there wasn't 2.5-hour baseball games then.
Michael was so upset. I don't know if Michael remembers this.
I wrote a song.
He wrote a song to Tim McCarthy. Do you remember how that song went,
It
Michael?
was so nasty.
Oh.
That I can't believe I wasn't fired.
Hey, Mike, you'll never have to work before noon. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. You have my word, you'll never work before noon. And that was the actual conversation. I remember when I started the radio career, I said, I can never, ever do a show before noon. I just can't. I know myself. You'll never, ever, ever, within a year, 10 to 1.
This is the Mitz Peter of the rotation. Oh, no, just before the rotation.
No, there was a rotation then.
No, I thought you were still with your
Just
girlfriend.
give the first initial.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, then the rotation.
Then the rotation kicked in, Peter, and it was like, come
and
on.
I had no time.
The Jim Palmer stepped in.
Oh, yeah, this was 60
ESPN's
Baltimore.
coverage of the NBA draft is presented by your Tri-State Acura dealers. Precision-crafted performance for exceptional lease and finance offers. Visit Acura.com. I will come back, take more phone calls, 1-800-919-3776. The NBA draft, you can hear it right after this show at 7. Alan Hahn is part of all of the coverage. Well, I want to announce that I'm going to be sailing on the first ever Legends of Baseball cruise on the Celebrity Cruises Apex on December 9th. And I'm looking for you to join me as we visit Key West, Cozumel, Belize, and Grand Cayman Islands. I'm going to be joined by current and past legends, including Oswaldo Cabrera, who just got called back up today, El Duque, legend, Mickey Rivers, legend, Chris Chambliss, legend, so many more players. Jeff Nelson, my partner at Yes, going to be there as well. This exclusive cruise includes 5-star accommodations, entertainment, autograph sessions, delectable dining, and more. Staterooms are going fast, so visit www.legendsofbaseballcruise.com, where you can also register to win this cruise for 2 or call 1-833-734-SHIP. That's 1-833-734-SHIP and mention promo code LEGENDS for more info.
There's an easier way. With Thumbtack. Download the app today and care for your home from top to bottom.
Bonobos presents A Course in Style with Justin Rose. Justin Rose, champion golfer with a champion swing. How does he do it? Well, let's take a closer look. Is it his flawless form, elite balance, consistent accuracy? Yes, and also those pants. Give me a little more of those pants, will you? Style, comfort, a great fit. These babies can do it all.
Wherever your tour takes you.
Retirement's got me thinking about the future and how to handle my final expenses. Thanks to Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company, I don't have to worry. It's affordable and the monthly rate's locked in. You're guaranteed acceptance. And what's more, only I can cancel it. I just pay my premiums on time and I'm covered for life. I can't tell you what a relief it is. For more information, visit colonialpenn.com. That's colonialpenn.com.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
Everything you love from ShopRite is now in your phone on Instacart. Get free delivery on your first order.
Paying down debt can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Upstart makes it fast and easy. Borrowers can access the funds they need in as little as 1 business day. Checking your rate is fast, easy, with no cost to you or your credit score. Loans start at $1,000 and go up to $50,000. Join the club of over 1.8 million customers who have turned to Upstart for a personal loan. Your financial freedom begins at upstart.com.
Trick plays, and if ever local hero, national champ, now he's home and expected to save the franchise and continue to go forward with hope as the plan on the edge.
What's up, guys? I wish this was in person so I could buy each and one of you a beer or something. Let's play the game. Hey guys, am I dreaming or can we actually win this thing?
Look at you, hostess with the mostest.
How does she do it?
But no one knows that earlier today.
It's not finished?
Oh my.
Oh, come on.
But you kept your cool.
I just planted those?
Sort of. And ordered everything you needed from Lowe's on Instacart. Yeah, look at you. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders.
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. You need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleep with auraring.com.
Every day, people take on their own challenging moments. A new path forward. A new beginning.
Hi. Good morning.
Their next chapter. Made possible with a little help from their Talkspace therapist. Talkspace. Get personally matched today with a therapist who can give you a little help too.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with one of my favorite people, Kelly O'Hara.
Oh, wow.
Now's the time.
Right? One of my favorite places I've ever played was London, 2012 Olympics.
Check out Home Plate New York on the Yes app.
On Friday, June 30th, starting at 12 noon. Enjoy your own table in the shade for up to 10 people with unlimited barbecue and discounted drinks. It's all thanks to Bar A, the Jersey Shore's most popular and diverse restaurant and entertainment facility. That sounds like it's going to be fun.
Good time.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not invited. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Mike in Orlando. Mike, hey.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Peter, just to make you feel a little bit better, I'm a Nets fan, and they trade my favorite player about every 3 to 5 years.
Great point. Great point. Well, in your case, they trade your superstars and your heart and soul players. So
yeah, see, that's not why I was trying to make you feel better. That's not what I was going for. And Don, the only thing better than maybe keeping that check from Hal, if you mobile deposit it, you could hang the check and you could use it, and then you could say you bought your kids maybe a pack of baseball cards on the Yankees owner or something like that.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a good
I didn't
idea,
even think
Mike.
about that. I'm so old school with my money.
Yeah, because you don't know how to bank.
I am at least getting direct deposit. Did you finally cave?
Oh, no, yeah. It bothers me because I like to have a physical check. It bothers me. Why? because I like to hold what I've earned.
Yeah.
When did you eventually cave and stop getting a check?
Well, Yes made me. You know, they refused to cut checks anymore.
That's what's wrong with this country.
And then 8 years ago, maybe ESPN said you got to stop this. You're a child.
Enough is enough is enough.
Right. So in 2019, the Yankees lost 2,129 games missed on the IL. That's the most in Major League Baseball. Now, remember when Hal said it's kind of like average? Well, he's right. In 2020 to 22, so for those 3 seasons, they lost 3,218 games to IL stints. That's the 13th in Major League Baseball. So there's 17 teams worse. Now, this year, they've lost 844, and that's the most in baseball. But a previous caller earlier wants Boone let go. He's won 41 games without his best players, all of them on the IL, but it's Boone's fault. Boone's fault. Let's go to John and Harrison. John.
Hi, Michael, Don, Peter. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to ask you, regarding Gleyber Torres. I mean, obviously, he's becoming kind of a problem with his absent-mindedness. But last night, I'm watching the game, and during the at-bat, when he was on first base and eventually got doubled off,
right?
What do you suppose the first base coach is talking to him about? I mean, don't you think he should be really in his ear about, hey, okay, there's one out, don't get doubled off? I mean, you got the first base coach right there.
Yeah, but I mean, but John, it wasn't a matter of him knowing how many outs there were. He misread the ball. He thought it was going to drop in. He didn't think there were 2 outs. He thought that Teoscar Hernandez had no chance to catch the ball.
It was a bad read.
You know what? Okay. I mean, if you say that, okay. I mean, the way it looked to me, the way he gave up once the ball was caught, it was kind of like he knew he made a mistake.
Oh, he did. But he didn't make a mistake in terms of how many outs there were. He made a mistake misreading the ball because he had no chance of getting back to first base because the ball was caught fairly close to the infield by Teoscar Hernandez right near the line, and he. You could see the way he was like bouncing off of first base. He looked to see where the ball was. He didn't just run head down thinking that there were 2 out. It was a terrible read by him. I mean, he has made a lot of these sort of things. He's like the absent-minded professor sometimes.
I mean, so whether, all right, if he was thinking that, okay, but that, all the more reason, if you're the first base coach, you got to reiterate with him.
But John, you're blaming Travis Chapman. It had nothing to do with him. The player has to read the ball. You think Travis Chapman is in his head? I mean, he's telling how many outs there are. There's 1 out. And then you can't blame that on the first base coach. That's ridiculous. Why do people never want to blame players? Blame Travis Chapman? Are you kidding me? What did he do wrong?
What's he supposed to do?
Not supposed to do anything other than tell the guy how many outs there are.
And there's 30,000 people in the building. There's a ball. There's a ball hit down the line, and what is he supposed to start screaming at him? Ghost? No, it's third base coach. They wave guys in, but how are you supposed to verbally communicate to him? Don't go. I mean, he's going to read it though. It's up to the player. You remind him how many outs there are.
But, John called, I think his name was John, and his intention was to blame it on the coach. Like, they blame the hitting coach when the guys don't hit. They blame the first base coach when the guy misreads the ball off the bat. Listen, to me, Gleyber Torres is the same sort of player as Robinson Cano with not nearly the talent. Very nonchalant. Sometimes they make mental errors. But, Cano drove in 115 runs and put the ball in play and didn't strike out. And he was a superb fielder, also very nonchalant. That's who Gleyber is. Now, you look at Gleyber and go, well, he's just 27 years old. Maybe he's going to get better. I don't know.
What?
He hasn't had a bad year this year at all, but he does make kind of mind-boggling mistakes.
I admire the coach, the callers, and I guess this isn't the essence of sports radio, but everybody thinks that they've got the solution to all of the Yankees' problems. fire Boone, fire the first base coach, fire the hitting coach. Maybe, this is just what they are until they get Judge back and in Bader consistently in the lineup. I mean, honestly, could you even make the case, Michael, that there's a lot of other teams in similar situation that might be even farther out than the Yankees are? So again, I don't think we should be throwing roses at their feet for what they're doing. Because what are they, 6-8 without Aaron Judge? But when the caller earlier was like, so they beat Seattle, so what? Well, they're a Major League Baseball team, and you beat them. You beat them 2 in a row, and you did it without scoring a ton of runs, and you found a way to win ball games and stay afloat and still be a playoff team despite having the best player in baseball on the IL, and maybe the best defensive center fielder finally coming back. Again, it's just a dysfunction of the Yankee fans believing there's a serious problem here. And the question is there really a serious problem?
I think the serious problem are the injuries, not the players. It's a pretty good team when they're all healthy.
Yeah,
it's just not all healthy.
These mistakes that we're talking about, they're annoying, but they're regular if you don't have the injuries.
Honestly, Peter, and it's the same town, and you would think it's the same mentality. If these Yankee fans watch the Mets on a daily basis, their heads would explode. Their heads would absolutely explode. You talk about fundamental errors, dumb plays on the base pads. It's amazing to me how dumb the Mets all of a sudden became after being maybe one of the smartest teams in baseball last year. And they're probably going to cost themselves a season because of it. So it's hard for me to really feel bad for Yankee fans when their tragedy is still being a playoff team, when my tragedy is following up a 101 season with a team that very well may finish under 500 this year.
It is hard to believe. You think the Dodgers and the Astros are pretty good, right, Don?
Yes.
Okay. Tuesday, the same day the Yankees won their 40th game is the day that the Dodgers won their 40th game and Houston won its 40th game. So everybody is crushing the Yankees because obviously because Tampa Bay's having an unbelievable season and the Yankees are very close to dropping out of winning the East, but they're right there for a wild card. They have the second wild card.
I know a lot of Yankee fans, at least the callers, because I think a lot of Yankee fans are big baseball fans and they know what's going on. But if you pay attention to the rest of Major League Baseball, there were people, including the host of this show, Michael Kay, who thought the St. Louis Cardinals could go to the World Series. And they're in last place, 13 games under 500. The San Diego Padres have sunk $1 billion into their team. They're 4 games under 500, 4th place in the West. Toronto, every year, to watch out for Toronto. Oh, my God, finally this is going to be the year. 4th place. I can go on. Seattle, I thought they were going to go to the World Series. A lot of people love that team. 4th place, 2 games under 500. These are teams with big payrolls, big expectations. St. Louis' season is over. They're done.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No, come on, Michael.
Not in that division. In that division? No way.
Michael, they're just not good. They're just not good. They're 10 games. They're 9 games out.
Okay, but how many games? They're 9 games out.
I understand the division, but you got to climb over everybody. The Cardinals they're not good.
Look at what the Reds just did. All you need is one big week, and you're in first place. The Reds won 11 straight games, and they moved into first place.
But if that's what I have to count on happening, I don't think that's going to happen. But all right, fine. But it's only because the division leader is 5 games above 500.
The Cardinals have not had a losing season, a losing record since 2007. And look at the year they're having now. I bet you Cardinal fans are cool. And they're a team that's built to win a championship. They have the second most championships in baseball after the Yankees.
Cleveland, a playoff team last year. They're under 500. Good thing for them is what's it with the Central, Michael? You've got the Reds in the National League in first place, 5 games over. You've got Minnesota in first place in the Central and the American League at 500.
You know what I think it is? I've thought about this a lot. Teams in the Central are smaller market teams. They don't have big payrolls. And I think that the unbalanced schedule has affected them. Because when they just played each other 19 times, they could build up enough wins to have a reputable record. You could actually have the American League Central team that wins the division be an under 500 team this year.
I get what you're saying, Michael. Detroit's not a small market. Chicago's not a small market. Now, they might treat themselves as small market teams, but...
That's fair. But I think the unbalanced schedule has a lot to do with it. Detroit operates, I mean, since, you know, the owner died, the family operates it as a smaller market.
No, you're
team.
right. Since, yeah.
But Cincinnati's small market.
And I know
the Cubs aren't spending as much money as they should.
Now, the Yankee fans are going to say, well, that's other teams. We're the New York Yankees. But are you really the New York Yankees when you consider the fact that even though they got a high payroll, Michael, with the revenue sharing, I think Hal was very revealing to the fact that when you consider their high payroll, how much money they've got to put into the team because they're a New York team. It's the revenue that they're making. Again, nobody's going to cry poverty for the Yankees, believe me. But do they have the ability to generate the revenue because of the overhead that they have? Yeah, they generate a tremendous amount of revenue because they're the New York Yankees and the biggest city in the world, but there's probably a lot of overhead that comes playing in New York that other small market teams don't have to worry about.
Let's see. Do I have to read anything here? Who's up next?
Not me.
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, come on, Michael. Do the right thing.
Come on.
Yeah.
Good assumption it's you almost every break.
Really, you know, people want me to talk about things, and I'm going to talk about Bay Ridge Mazda right now. Right now.
Everything you love from ShopRite is now in your phone on Instacart. Get free delivery on your first order.
This is not something you just watch. This is how you power your career, grow an epic garden, or make a quick dinner unforgettable.
Oh, this is about to be fire.
This is not sitting back or zoning out. This is your voice.
This is your canvas.
This is another way of playing.
This is where you stop scrolling and start doing with thousands of lessons from the best to ever do it. This is not streaming.
This is Masterclass.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
Good morning, you, and you. For the you who wakes up with a pile. Away luggage brings you color and style. For the you who must navigate what life reveals. Away suitcases have 360-degree wheels. Our luggage and bags fit together and are built to last through whatever. Keeping things easy for all of the yous, so you can take in all of the views. Ready for everywhere. Away.
Hey. Rental? Yeah. You? Yeah. You know your shoe's untied.
Oh! Don't let a boxy suit ruin your night. Read from theblacktux.com.
We just signed the lease on our 3rd shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We've worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to CustomInk.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our Custom Ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at CustomInk.com.
The path to business success is often unpredictable. Managing your bank account doesn't need to be. Find your flow with powerfully smooth banking that keeps you focused on bringing your vision to life. Wherever your company goes, Mercury is there with banking products like checking and savings accounts, debit and credit cards, wire transfers, and financing, all designed to scale with your company.
Look at you, hostess with the mostest.
How does she do it?
But no one knows that earlier today.
It's not finished?
Oh my.
Oh, come on.
But you kept your cool.
I just planted those?
Sort of. And ordered everything you needed from Lowe's on Instacart. Yeah, look at you. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders.
Can a handyman fix my leaky faucet?
How much does it cost to have my HVAC checked?
How do I know I have mold?
Why do water pipes break?
Home questions don't have to keep you up at night. Get peace of mind with Thumbtack. We'll connect you with local pros for any home project, from a small fix to a big remodel. See transparent prices, read verified reviews, and book with just a tap. Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
No, my grandpa was. He passed membership to my mom, then me. Huh. Yeah, if your spouse, parent, or grandparent served, they could pass it to you.
I'll check it out.
USAA, for the military community and their families.
In previous seasons on Homegrown.
I'm so happy right now. I can't describe my feeling.
This is unbelievable. This is what we played for all year.
A dream come true.
This season, who's next to get the call?
And once you get the taste of it, it makes it work even harder.
Catch the Homegrown season premiere tonight after Yankees on Yes and the Yes app. Presented by Wendy's.
They say those who can't teach, and they're right. Those who can't ignore a child's burning curiosity about the world. Those who can't allow a single kid to quietly slip through the cracks. Those who can't allow the great works of literature to collect dust. Those who can't sit idly by when there's a calling to do something that's much more than a job.
Because those who can't give up on the future teach.
We about to turn it up. Oh, yes! Claxton, let's go! Case closed. About to be around the pole. Swing and a miss. Bases loaded. See ya! We gonna turn it up. Big win!
What's that?
We had a little slide back, Don, on our good buddy Aaron Rodgers. You know, he went to a psychedelic conference and was...
oh, boy.
He was talking about the beauties of psychedelic medicine or drugs.
Why is that a slide
Why
back?
is that well, I mean, he's being that guy. He hasn't been that guy since he's come here.
Well, that's not being that guy, though. What do you mean by that guy?
Oh, he said, I've been fortunate enough in the last few years to be able to sit in ceremony with teammates. I'm telling you, it's radically life-changing. It's wild to be in a locker room and look over and just know, like I've been in the Maloka, which is an indigenous South American dwelling, with you guys. It's pretty special. Changes the dynamic for sure. In this process, like I said, there's been hundreds of NFL guys who have reached out.
I'm fine with it.
He said that after he won the Super Bowl in 2011, he asked himself, now what? He used mushrooms after that. Recent years started taking ayahuasca, a psychedelic tea derived from plants. When I first did Aya in 2020, I remember thinking afterwards, like, I'm going to have to talk about this at some point. Are people ready? How will it be received? Then I won MVP. Then I did it again. I said, okay, I can probably talk about it now, but the cool thing has been the response. Not from the media that calls me a druggie, a hippie, or whatever it was. To see baseball players and basketball players and surfers and entertainers and my own teammates and colleagues across the league reach out and either share their story about their own medicine journey or to be asked me to be a part of an upcoming one is pretty special.
Don, I don't see that as that guy stuff.
No, I
Really?
don't. No, because he's trying.
Well, that's the only. Didn't we get on him about the dark retreat? This is right along lines with that.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm not saying he's saying anything wrong, but he's being the guy that Don said he's going to be on his best behavior.
But nothing here's bad.
Yeah, the darkness retreat was just weird, but I don't think it was bad. But when he started getting maybe political or talking about the vaccine and going on with Joe Rogan, like that stuff kind of stirred a lot of people up. This is somebody that's trying to work some alternative medicine in a sport where these guys are downing opioids and killing themselves. That maybe he's trying to find a way at 40 to be able to play one of the most physically demanding sports out there and do it in a way that and medicate yourself in a more natural way. Now,
okay, so in the same thing. He joined the head of the psychedelic conference, Marcus.
Love Marcus.
In stumping for presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
All right, now we're talking.
Okay. He believes in the power of psychedelic medicines, not drugs, he insisted, and how they have influenced his mental health. The battle is between your earlobes. It's how can I silence that inner critic? The anti-me is the greatest opponent because it's me. It knows exactly what to say to me, exactly what to show me, to whisper in my ear, you're not good enough, you're not going to win this game. Nobody likes you, you're a crazy anti-vaxxer. But I think the beauty is in these journeys is to find the self-love, because the greatest antidote to the anti-you is unconditional self-love. It has been a beautiful journey to try and find that.
It's off the beaten path, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Listen, he is who he is.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's the guy that you said wouldn't show up in New York.
No, but again, that statement wasn't specifically political. It wasn't an actual endorsement of Kennedy.
No, it is. He endorsed Kennedy.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't. I know what Don's saying. It doesn't ring over the same tone that he had there for a while. But it's worth having an eye open for.
I think you know who he is. He wasn't going to change who he is. But the question I had was, is he going to be just like out there and causing a distraction? I don't see this as causing a distraction. Now, but if it bothers you, I guess it could bother you. But I never expected him to change who he is.
If during the Jets season he's stumping for RFK Jr., which a lot of people don't think should be in the conversation for the presidential race, that's going to be a distraction. There are going to be a lot of people that don't like it.
Yes, agree.
No, I agree with that. But he hasn't. I don't know if he's done that.
Well, I just told you he did it.
But it's not during the season. It's during the off season. He went to a conference. But I don't, like I said, if he starts having post-game press conferences, trying to make it all political, where it could be a distraction in the room, where the next day you're waking up and it's the back of the Post in the news of controversial statements he make and political statements. But these people are who they are, Michael. I mean, the owner of the Jets advocated for Trump, donated money to the Republican Party, and left to be a part of Trump's party. And to a lot of people, that did not look great. Right? So, you live in a world where people are going to advocate for certain politicians and all that. It's one thing, but as long as it doesn't distract the team, and a story on June 22nd, I don't think is going to distract the team.
I have no problem with what he did. I have no problem what he did in Denver at this conference. I have no problem with him stumping for any political candidate. I'm just saying that the guy is a controversial dude, and he's not going to stop being controversial. He's not. He can't. That's him. Well, he's been a model citizen since he became a Jet. But to think this, as you just said, Don, you're not going to change who you are. Right. He's that guy.
And on an off day,
he's a different thinker.
And an off day in June. But I think if you start finding out that it's in the locker room, or it's distracting and becoming a story on game day, well, then it could be a problem. Regardless of regardless, Peter, where you land, like if it's interfering with the actual game and the readiness and a distraction within the locker room during the course of the season, then I'd be all for it. If you told me this came out on a Friday before a game against the Bills in Buffalo, I'd say, you know what, maybe he should keep his mouth shut.
I'll add one thing as we get to the all-important 5 o'clock hour that people need to hear. If they're 5-0 and he's throwing for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns every game, none of it will matter. And if they're 2-3 and he's throwing for 260 a game with a pick, it will matter.
That's
this
it.
portion of the Michael K. Show on 98.7 ESPN, driven by Genesis of White Plains. Visit Genesis of White Plains, newest member of the Pepe Auto Group, the name you've trusted since 1968. Well, I'm going to be sailing on the first ever Legends of Baseball cruise on the Celebrity Cruises Apex. That's on December 9th. Get your tickets right away because these things are going fast. I'm looking for you to join me as we visit Key West, Cozumel, Belize, and Grand Cayman Islands. I'll be joined by current and past legends, including my broadcast partner, Jeff Nelson on Yes, Oswaldo Cabrera, Chris Chambliss, Greg Nettles, and more. This includes 5-star accommodations, entertainment, autograph sessions, delectable dining, and more. Staterooms are going fast, so visit www.legendsofbaseballcruise.com, where you can also register to win this cruise for two or call 1-833-734-SHIP. That's 1-833-734-SHIP and mention promo code LEGENDS for more info.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
Look at you, hostess with the mostest.
How does she do it?
But no one knows that earlier today.
It's not finished?
Oh my.
Oh, come on.
But you kept your cool.
I just planted those?
Sort of. And ordered everything you needed from Lowe's on Instacart. Yeah, look at you. Visit Instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
Having a family is one of life's most precious gifts and biggest responsibility. At Colonial Penn, we understand how important it is to take care of the people you love at any age, on any budget. That's why we were among the first to guarantee life insurance for men and women over age 50. Acceptance is guaranteed for everyone between the ages of 50 and 85 without exception. Get the peace of mind that comes with knowing your loved ones will have help with the bills you leave behind.
Visit colonialpenn.com to learn more.
Everything you love from ShopRite is now in your phone on Instacart. Get free delivery on your first order.
Having those high interest credit cards, it felt unmanageable. My name is Belinda, and with Upstart, I was able to save money with a personal loan. From the moment that I checked my rate to getting that approval was just a few minutes. I felt relieved having the funds in my account so quickly. I was able to turn all of those, big payments into one small payment, and I was able to breathe.
Easy online borrowing. Personal loans up to $50,000. Go to Upstart.com.
Justin Rose is a major champion. A man with the skills to win and the style to look great, whether he's on the course or off.
Wherever your tour takes you.
You definitely do not need to go to business school to become more successful.
Great negotiation is about great collaboration.
Pull the plug. Fire faster.
No matter what you do, you are in sales.
Don't worry, we've got your butt covered.
On June 6th, Rachel walked toward new opportunities.
to start her next chapter with a little help from her Talkspace therapist, Alex. Talkspace. Get personally matched today with a therapist who can give you a little help too.
We strip away everything but the essential. And what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Defend your family's health and remove the risk. Go to FDA.gov/health playbook.
We about to turn it up. Oh, yes! Claxton, let's go! Case closed. About to be around the pole. Swing and a miss. Bases loaded. See ya! We gonna turn it up. Big win!
Today, before the game, Yankees will play the Mariners, trying to sweep Seattle, and DJ LeMahieu is leading off. The numbers on LeMahieu are absolutely startling, by the way. Since May 11th, that's 28 games, he's 19 for 105. That's 181. Wow. 181. His first 33 games, he was slugging at 479. His last 28 games, he's slugging at 286, and also striking out a lot. Although they don't have that much credence in batting average, he is at 232, and that's a problem. He's got one of the guys that has to get going, and Aaron Boone was asked about LeMahieu.
I think just for me, just subtly watching his move and how he gets himself into position, if he's getting in position to really get that good DJ swing off with some force behind it, I guess that's what I'm looking for. Still really confident he's going to get it going. He's just a little odd for a great hitter to go through a stretch where he's kind of searched, because he's always been able to kind of roll out there, and it's like, I know I can hang a line drive out there with the best of them. So hopefully just getting into that good position, within his load, and start to where he's able to fire strongly.
I just don't know why he's not, because he is such a great hitter, and he's claiming that the toe injury that derailed his season last year is fine. Okay, so you have to believe him. He's a real tough dude, and he wanted to play last year in the playoffs. He couldn't even walk, and he was advocating to be in the playoff roster in the ALCS. They finally said no, but in an organization where analytics are studied, his average exit velocity has gone down each and every month. So the ball's not coming off his bat the way it used to. His strikeouts are way up. His power numbers are not. That's concerning. So this is a guy who has to start clicking. So they put LeMahieu in the lineup today. They DH'd Gleyber Torres. And Jake Bauers, who's been raking, he's not playing tonight.
Got a big home run last night.
Yeah, so he's not playing tonight. So I understand what Aaron's doing. They've got to get LeMahieu straightened out, but we keep waiting on track record. And the two names we keep hearing about, well, three, LeMahieu, Donaldson, and Stanton. Well, if you're a Yankee fan, who are you most optimistic is going to play up the track record? If you ask me, it would be Stanton. Because we've seen Stanton look lost, and then for a month, you can't get him out. We've seen that. So I don't think this is any different. I think that just one rehab assignment did not help him. But since he hurt his toe, that's a long stretch of time, LeMahieu has not been the same player. And when you take a look at Donaldson, we talk about how much runway is he going to get. It's over 500 at-bats, where he's been nowhere close to the player that the year before they got him, the last year in Minnesota, I think his OPS plus was 127, which is he's better than 27%. He's 27% better than the average player. We have not seen that guy. His OPS plus is under 100. 100 is even. That means you're an average player. He's under that for over 500 at-bats. So I don't know if you guys watched the game last night. The fans, you could hear the buzz. They were waiting to boo him. They were waiting for every out to boo him. He has now become Aaron Hicks. So how long do they ride with him? It's going to be an interesting point. Aaron Judge, some good news from Aaron Boone.
I know he's in the pool yesterday. He's able to do more balancing strength things, kind of get up things he wasn't really able to do at all 4 or 5 days ago. He's starting to get to those points. So hopefully we'll get to a point at the end of the week where he starts doing some, throwing and maybe even some light hitting and things like that. So I do feel like, again, he's turned the corner with the last PRP shot, but still going slowly, but I feel like real progress.
So real progress. So he's hoping by the end of the week, all right, Sunday, light hitting pretty much means hitting off the tee. So that toe, everything hinges on that toe with his swing. Everything. Be a right-handed hitter. Stand up right now if you're at home watching on TV. Swing an imaginary bat, and everything spins off that back leg toe. I think this is going to be a very slow process. I root for him to be back shortly, but I just don't know. Yankees have been very, very quiet about any timetable, which I think is smart. Why put the guy behind the 8 ball? He's got to be 100% when he gets back, but I think it's going to be a while to be 100%. I think it's going to be a while. Those are Diamond Notes, brought to you by London Jewelers, the engagement experts. Visit London Jewelers today at any of their 7 locations, including the newest location at the mall at Short Hills.
As much as fans hate how quiet it is without a specific date, can you imagine the pressure they would feel if they gave you a date and he wasn't back at that date? That's the problem. So they're going to have to wait and see. So I just theorized maybe it'll be 2 weeks. So let's say Aaron Boone said, I think there's a chance he could be back in 2 weeks. Well, but what's 2 weeks from today? If he's not back, how's the media and the fans going to react?
No, I don't think they should tell us anything.
Right.
I really don't.
You listen, if they may know something, but as far as like confidence-wise, to be able to put a date on it, that's why, what was it, a week ago, Aaron kind of lost his patience with the questions, because how can you hang a date on it? You just don't know. Like, you got good news.
And they might know, and maybe they don't want to tell you.
Well, they probably are erring on the side like you. I think this is going to be a while. Do you want to send that message out to the fans?
No.
Do you want to send that message out to the team? So you want to make it feel like, yeah, he's close, but you also don't want to promise anything because there's probably a chance you wouldn't be able to live up to those expectations.
I don't know if you saw this story, Don, but SNY put out a statement today. Despite our good faith efforts, YouTube TV is preparing to drop SNY.
Oh, no.
And our exclusive live Mets games on July 1st. We feel an obligation to inform YouTube TV subscribers that they will lose SNY's leading coverage of the Mets, Jets, and all of New York's professional and collegiate sports teams. If you're a Mets fan and a YouTube TV subscriber, please go to SNY.TV SNY.TV/YouTube TV to find a new provider. So people that switched to YouTube TV to get the, I guess that's the new NFL ticket, right?
Yeah.
YouTube?
Yes.
And they thought they'd also get the Jets. Now they're kind of in a conundrum. Well, the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm sure those Jet fans will be upset they won't be able to get the pre and the post game coverage. But the real story is, losing the Mets, and that's the premier program for SNY. And I just hate these stories. I do, because you can blame YouTube or the apps, but this was happening during cable, right? How long did Yes wasn't on Cablevision? It just
for 1 year.
It happens, and it's not even just. Sometimes it's actual over-the-air stations too. It's really ridiculous what fans have to go through
now. It's worse now. Like, yes, you'd have the occasional thing like the Cablevision Yankee situation, but this now seems like every other day that you're trying to figure out a way to stream as much as you possibly can that you enjoy,
right?
And you can't figure out a way to do it, and it just screams of give us cable, please.
Well, I mean, if you're a Met fan and you have YouTube TV, I mean, you have to make a move today, right? But then if you love football and you want to have the NFL package, you need YouTube TV. So it's a conundrum. They're putting people in a situation where they have to make really, really tough decisions, which is difficult. The Mets are off today. They'll start a 3-game set against the Phillies tomorrow, and that game is on Apple TV. So you're going to need Apple TV to see that.
I did feel that Hal empathized with the fans about the app situation. I mean, obviously, they made a decision to go to Amazon, but with the other ones, Apple and Peacock, it gets a little much.
And really, the Yankees have no responsibility for that. The Mets don't. I mean, that's a deal cut by Major League Baseball. By the way, Anthony Pusick tells me you can have the ticket without YouTube TV. You just pay for the ticket.
Yay! Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last few years.
It wasn't. Oh, really? Even when it was on DirecTV?
Yeah, I've had the ticket without having DirecTV for 6 years.
Was it like on the tablet?
On everything, yeah.
I didn't even know. Why didn't you tell me?
I've said this, Anthony. Since you've been here, have you already heard me say this? It
About
comes
the
up.
ticket specifically, maybe not. I know you had it though.
It comes up every year or two that I surprise Michael by saying I have the Sunday ticket without DirecTV. I've been paying for it for a long time.
Now, I wanted to bring up to Hal, but there's other pressing things besides the app situation. But one of the things Hal said is that it is the future, right? This is what people are doing. There's cord cutters out there, and making the decision to go to these apps are for the people that have cut the cord. But if I cut the cord and I download the Yes app, shouldn't that take care of me? If I'm a cord cutter, and if these games stayed on Yes, I could watch it on the app, right?
Well, yeah, you can see the 125 games on Yes.
Right. So if I'm a cord cutter and I get Yes, but now I've got to get these other apps too. So either way, it's still kind of a money
Presumably,
grab.
you want to watch more than just Yankee games.
I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Streaming, right? It's going to end up being like cable.
Right. You're going to have all.
You're going to want to get a bundle. It's going to end up costing you more than cable. I predict that cable will come back.
God, come on. You know I've been saying this for 7 years. Don't take my lines. You're better than that.
Don't know if you saw this, Peter.
Okay.
We love Tim Legler, one of our favorite
Legs.
guests.
Yeah, I'm sure he has things to say about the Wizard situation.
He said the Celtics are a bigger contender with the addition of Porzingis. They gave up a winner in Smart, but the offensive skill size and rim protector of Porzingis is a major addition for the Celtics.
Well, listen, I've heard people throw that word around. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know how good a rim protector Porzingis is. I'd like him to play more than 60 games. That would be cool. Can someone give me that guarantee? Let me pull up the total here on Kristaps over the years. 22-23. Last year wasn't bad, guys. He played 65 games. The last time he broke 60 games prior to this season was in 2016-17. That was the last time, guys, that he broke 60 games. Every year, it's less than that.
All right, so all you need him is in the playoffs.
That's it?
Well, I mean, you want to make sure he's healthy in the playoffs.
But
Last year, he shot 39% from three-point and 50% from the field. He scored 23.2 points per game.
I get it, but you're contorting yourself into a pretzel if you're now telling me you gave up Marcus Smart to get a guy who you hope is just available for the playoffs.
Yeah, but the skill set that he has is something that Marcus can't give them.
I get it, but I don't just want it for the playoffs. I'm going to need him to be a complete player.
Oh, okay, but the Heat proved last year, Peter, that you don't need to finish first or second in the conference in order to make a run.
I hear you, but you're stretching now.
I think
No,
that's
I'm not.
well. See, that's what Knicks fans are hoping for. I think that's the aberration, not the rule. All right, so an 8 seed made a run to the final. Okay, I get it. But does that mean that that's now the way you can structure yourself? Like, well, so all 8 teams can really legitimately believe that they can be the Heat? Well, the Heat went to the final in the bubble. They've gone to a conference final before. There's a pedigree on that team, and they let themselves slip to an 8 seed. But, this idea, well, I can be the Heat, this year's Heat. All right, well, do you have the pedigree the Heat do? Do you have the coach the Heat do? Do you have the management that the Heat have? Do you have a Jimmy Butler? And for all that, yeah, they got to the final, but they didn't win it. So I think if you tell me the next 10 years, Michael, it's still going to be the top teams in each conference that have the best chance to make a run. I think it's opening up a little more than it was when you knew it was Cleveland Golden State every year. You can add teams, but if you're banking on 7 and 8 seeds and teams that went through the play-in to consistently make runs, if that's the way you're going to build your team, I think you're going to be sadly disappointed in the results over time.
But I don't think you build your team to finish 8th. But I'm just saying if Porzingis plays only 60 games and misses 22 of them, and that affects you where you're the 5th seed rather than the 2nd seed in the East, I don't think it's a killer.
Well, maybe the Celtics can live that way because the Celtics have proven. They went to the conference final last year, NBA Finals the year before. But I'm just getting this feeling with the Knicks that they're okay. They're on the come, and using the example of making it to the second round and losing to the eventual Eastern Conference champion is that they can be that. Can they be? Do they have the pedigree to do that?
Well, we have the NBA draft coming up at 7 o'clock right here on 98.7. So I think because it's basketball centric, we have to check in with Spike in St. Petersburg. Spike.
Hey, boys. Michael, have a good trip to London. Peter, again, it'll be a couple of weeks now, so be a wonderful occasion for everybody.
Thank you, buddy.
Listen, you're welcome. The one I want, you can't run the same bunch out again. It's addition by subtraction. I think that's the way it goes. I did some numbers at the end of the season, and between Brunson, who was a godsend and a bargain, no question about that, and Randall and Barrett, not that they're all left-handed, but they're all ISO players, and they take about 70-some-odd% of the shots, roughly. And you can't win like that. The only time you win with an ISO player is the last possession of the game when you just square off or something like that. And it's never more evident. And one comment on Marcus Smart. I said it a long time ago. He was the heart and soul of that Boston team, giving 2 picks, even though they're not going to be top picks, and picks are like fishing with no bait. You never know. I think the Celtics made an error there, which doesn't bother me, Peter. Nothing to do with you, of course, but my history with Boston. And the last thing is, I don't think Phoenix, I'll tell you, I don't like that compilation of, what is it now, Beal, Durant, and Booker. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to look up some stats, just compile the last 3 years of games played between those three, and you're going to be in the 50 percentiles, my guess. So the Knicks need shot makers. Alan Hans preached that for years. They need a guy like the guy he works with when he played. They need a Wally Zerbiak type that was a great shooter.
So would you take Paul George? Would you take Paul George?
He's 32 or 33 years old. Again, you're giving me another injury-prone guy. I would take Zion before I would take Paul George, and I'll tell you why. I think this whole he ate his way out of New Orleans. Brandon Ingram is the guy, and there's another guy that's injury-prone. He looks like the next Kevin Durant, possibly. I'm not jumping the shark here. I think Brandon Ingram's going to be an all-pro for many, many years, and that's not his team, Zion. He wants to come back and play with his guy, from Duke. You get him in shape. It's very hard, Michael. You talk about injuries with the Yankees, and, I follow baseball. It's my other sport. And they hire this guru, supposedly, to get everyone in shape. Sometimes you can only tell them so much to do, and they don't follow along. Zion's 40 pounds overweight still. Never more seen in that commercial he did for Sprite or something. I forgot.
Well, you know what? I would tell you, though, he's 22. I take a run with him. I've said this over and over. I don't think Don and Peter agree with me, but according to the cost, I would do it.
Hold on now. According to the cost, absolutely. Now, if you want me to give up R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, like the guaranteed sort of nucleus that's gotten them at least to being a competitive playoff team that can win a series, well, I don't know if I'm giving that up for Zion.
All right, so let me change that on you. Would you give up R.J. Barrett?
Just give me a complete trade.
Well, I mean, it's going to be R.J. Barrett, and you got to match up salary, so it would probably be Toppin and draft picks and stuff like that. The Knicks have draft picks. They don't have a first rounder tonight, but I would do that.
I would gamble R.J. Barrett, Toppin, and picks for Zion. Yes, I would. That I would. But Randall too? No, I can't do that.
I would probably agree with you because I think you need 3 stars, and Randall is a star. So it's Brunson, Randall, and Zion. I think that is a team that could win a championship. Again, the big if Zion stays healthy. Let's go to Chris in Queens. Chris?
Hello?
Hello, Chris.
Hey, thanks for taking the call, guys.
You got it. What's up?
I'm kind of with Peter on the Celtics. I'm a Celtics fan myself, but to Peter's point earlier about saying maybe Marcus Smart wasn't living up to the Celtics' expectations and didn't, do what he needed at the times that they needed him. I mean, I would say that it wasn't really his team to start with. I would say Jason Tatum didn't live up to expectations, but no matter what, the trade is pretty much over, right? It's already excuse me, it went through. So the question right now for the Celtics, I would say, is they need a true point guard. Who would that be?
Well, maybe they're not done dealing yet. So,
yeah, because
but just with anybody who's available right now or something like that, I would say with the move that they did to get with Kristaps, they need somebody as a true point guard to really handle.
Oh, yeah, I mean, listen,
kind of move stuff around a little bit. But the comparison right now is the Celtics actually going for Kristaps and taking that risk, and Knicks fans talking about going for Zion and taking the same risk, essentially.
Well, I don't think Zion's getting traded. I mean, that's just my pie-in-the-sky dream. And I think they might regret not trading him now because his value could continue to go down, especially if he continues to be out of shape. And, you know, I don't want to be misunderstood here about Smart. I don't think the Celtics are trading Smart because they thought he was the reason they fell short.
No.
You have to give up talent to get talent. I'm sure that it was a really tough pill for Brad Stevens to swallow.
But listen, he's the longest tenured Celtic, and obviously for me, this is so personal. I did a thing for the NBA during Summer League the year before he started with the Celtics where I followed him around for a day. I did not know when I was interviewing the kid that he would become one of my all-time favorite Celtics, and he had a little bit of controversy actually at Oklahoma State, but obviously he turned into the consummate pro. But here's the part that you're yet to answer for me, Michael. How am I supposed to feel good about a situation? You can answer it on the other side. Where yesterday the trade was Brogdon, and then apparently there's some there was some concern for Brogdon's potential injury, and so it ends up being Marcus Smart. To me, that just feels sloppy.
Well, I mean, obviously their intent was to trade Brogdon, and it fell through. So they still wanted the guy, and the Wizards said, "Okay, if it's not going to be Brogdon, then we want Smart, who we could turn around and trade for something else," which is what they did. I think their initial intent was to trade Brogdon. I'm telling you, Brad Stevens probably had to swallow hard to trade Marcus Smart. He's popular. The fans love him, but they feel that they needed this sort of player.
I'll tell you, man, that is pressure on Porzingis, boy.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Samwell Institute for Pain Management. For pain-free life, visit SamwellPain.com today. Hey, listen, I want you to take advantage of special offers during the Sign and Drive event.
The Michael Kay Show. When you feel depressed, anxious, or just stuck, a licensed Talkspace therapist is ready to help. They're experts at providing therapy through video, audio, or text, and it's covered by most insurance. Convenient and affordable therapy, anytime, anywhere.
Look at you, hostess with the mostest.
How does she do it?
But no one knows that earlier today...
It's not finished?
Oh, my.
Oh, come on.
But you kept your cool.
I just planted those?
Sort of. And ordered everything you needed from Lowe's on Instacart. Yeah, look at you. Visit Instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders.
Everything you love from ShopRite is now in your phone on Instacart. Get free delivery on your first order.
Who is this message for? It's for people age 50 and over. What is it about? It's about guaranteed life insurance at a cost that fits your budget. In fact, it starts as low as $9.95 a month. And how do you get it? Just log on to colonialpenn.com. You'll also get this free beneficiary planner. That's colonialpenn.com. Click now.
Local hero, national champ, now he's home and expected to save the franchise and continue to go forward with hope as the plan on the edge.
What's up, guys? I wish this was in person so I could buy each and one of you a beer or something. Let's play the game. Hey guys, am I dreaming or can we actually do this thing? It's a perfect
We just signed the lease on our third shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to CustomInk.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our Custom Ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at CustomInk.com.
I have lucid dreams almost every night. I keep thinking I have some kind of double life. Years ago, I came up with the design for a beautiful flowy dress with a pattern made from real flowers. During hard times, I go into survival mode and I have bright dreams every night. Every night, I close my eyes and I find myself inside my brain. I travel through memories and time. I just want to keep dreaming forever.
We thank you. Get the Ford F-150 with 0% financing for 36 months plus $2,500 bonus cash. View more offers at buyfordnow.com.
10 years ago, we started Untuck It out of my apartment, and today we have more than 80 stores worldwide. We didn't just create shirts designed to be worn untucked, we perfected them. But we didn't stop with shirts. We also created so much more, from polos to sweaters to pants. We even have a line just for her. So everyone can look sharp in this new business comfortable world. Try the original Untucked shirt and more today. Visit untuckit.com or your nearest store.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael Kay Show. Back in 2015, Johnny Brito signed with the Yankees as a free agent as a 17-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. He's now 25 years old and has been called upon since the season began to be part of a rotation that has been in flux since spring training. He's grown up in the Yankees farm system, and last night he was going up against one of the best starters the majors has to offer in Luis Castillo. And with the Yankees desperately needing to turn things around, and with the help of a couple of teammates that were also trying to make their way back to the majors this season, the Yanks were able to put their second win in a row together against the Mariners. Brito allowed just 2 hits through nearly 6 innings of work, needing only 81 pitches to navigate the 20 batters he faced. And afterwards, Aaron Boone assessed his rookie righty's strong performance.
Great job. I mean, a tough matchup. Castillo, Johnny comes up here and again, we're hearing good things about some of the things he was working with, and I thought he did a good job even incorporating his breaking ball, especially the first time through. Had a little bit of a presence with it. I think it helped him with the changeup moving forward, but for the most part, filling up the strike zone. I thought a little bit late. He started to scatter a little bit, maybe got away with a couple mistakes, but, man, you couldn't ask for much more than that.
Tonight, the Yankees are back on Yes, looking to open up the broom closet on the Mariners, beginning with the Yankees batting practice show takeover with Meredith Marakovits, followed by the pregame and first pitch is scheduled for a little after 7. It's the Yankees and the Mariners. Coverage starting at 6, right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
The draft coverage on ESPN right now, and Amen and also Thompson, 2 identical twins who are going to go in the first round. These guys are going to do well. I don't know what kind of players they are. Handsome guys. If they could play, they're going to make a lot of money. A lot of money. Now, Mike Dunleavy Jr. took over for Bob Myers in Golden State. And in his press conference a couple of days ago, He said that Jordan Poole is signed for 4 more years. He's going to be the center of what we're building around. Then he trades him for Chris Paul. And that I don't understand, because the one thing with Golden State is they're an old team. Now, Jordan Poole was not the same player after Draymond Green punched him in the face. And maybe that tells you that they are going to bring back Draymond Green, and the two of them just didn't get along.
See, now that's why they pay you the big bucks, Michael.
Why's that?
Because that is a very interesting take, and maybe that is just maybe it's more a sign about how they feel about Poole than how they feel about Chris Paul.
But is it a smart move to bring? I mean, Chris Paul's what, 38, and Steph's not getting any younger, and Draymond's older, and Klay Thompson. After next year, he might be gone because they don't want to continue to play the repeater tax. They're on the second apron already. I mean, I think they pay over $150 million in tax, let alone salary. So it's a weird trade. It's a weird trade. I mean, Chris Paul essentially is going to be a backup, right?
Well, you don't care about
age.
He
makes a truckload of money.
It's all about this year. Now, can they bring Draymond back by adding the CP3's contract?
No, but yeah, they could, because they can go over, because he's there, he's there, he's
Right.
with them at the bird rights, so they'll just soar over the tax. I don't know how they're going to fill out the rest of their roster, because by being over the second apron, they can't even keep Dante DiVincenzo, who was a big part of what they did last year, so he's going to be out. They just can't afford to keep him, and he does not have bird rights. So it's a curious deal, and Mike Dunleavy, following in the footsteps of many, many general managers in sports, saying one thing and doing another.
Maybe DiVincenzo comes here and you just become full-on Villanova.
You know what? Wouldn't be a bad idea, right? I want you two to enter the New York No-Hitter sweepstakes for your chance to win $25,000. Find the No-Hitter tile on the ESPN New York app, pick a team, and submit your entry. Today's qualifier is Eileen Anglin. I like that name. From Barnegat, New Jersey, who has chosen New York's American League team to throw a no-hitter today. Presented by MoheganSunCasino.com. For full contest rules, go to ESPNNewYork.com. I wonder if there's a way to circumvent. See, follow me, guys. If you take New York's National League team to throw a no-hitter, right?
Right.
They're not playing today. They're not going to give up any hits.
It's a great point.
It's not a good point, Peter. Stop it.
Yeah, I think it's a bad point. They have to be playing, I'm pretty sure.
You have to throw the no-hitter is what you're saying.
That's right. It can't just exist because it exists.
Gotcha. Let's go to Dave in the car. Dave.
Hey, how you guys doing? I listen every day, and I try to call in because I'm driving home from the Bronx to Westchester.
Oh, thanks,
I got
Dave.
2 points, one with the Yankees and one with the Celtics. I mean, Peter should be high in the world, but I'll get to that second. I didn't hear Hal's whole situation, sort of the little excerpt that you guys put on, because I got out of school late that day. And from what I gathered from that whole situation, even if this is just my opinion, everybody's entitled to their opinion, even if Judge is out till the end of August, the Yankees are going to make the playoffs, no matter what. I don't care if nobody comes back. They're going to make the playoffs. If everybody comes back, do they have a shot of winning the World Series? Yeah, they have a shot. Do I think they're going to win it? No. But that's just my opinion. I think that Boone is a good manager, and what I got out of Hal is that when this thing's all over with, if they don't at least get to the ALCS, he's going to let Boone go. I mean, Cashman's there for life. We all know that. I'm not going to get into that part of it again. I just think Boone is going to be gone if they don't get to at least to the ALCS, no matter who comes back, no matter who doesn't. So that's my Yankee point. The Celtics point is that I was so depressed with the Knicks that they didn't get Porzingis. I was like, I mean, you don't know what I think of the guy. Everybody's seen him so many times because he's been with the Knicks. This and the next thing. He steps in my opinion. I think that Peter should be the happiest man in the world. I don't give out guarantees. They are 100% in the finals next year, and probably 80% going to win the NBA championship if those three guys are 100% healthy. I'm not saying come in last place, come in 8th place like the Heat. I'm talking about if they're like in the top 3, and these guys are healthy. I think Porzingis is the number 1 player on the team. I think he's better than Tatum. That's how good I think.
Guess what? Guess what I want to do? Here's what I want to do. I want to end the phone call and have you permanently banned, because that was the single dumbest thing anyone's ever said on this show. For all the screaming Michael done, he seemed like a really great guy, but for all the screaming done that Michael has done at Yankee fans for their takes, that guy deserves 1,000 times more
He's
to
a big
screaming
Porzingis
for
guy.
saying Porzingis is better than Jason Tatum.
He's a big.
Also, I mean, his Yankee point didn't make sense. If Judge is hurt all year, they're definitely going to make the playoffs.
They're still making the playoffs.
They might not. There's a good chance they will not.
I think they will.
That guy was high. He was, in the words of Don LaGreca, Don, smoking out of an apple. I mean, what the hell was he talking about?
And then also, I didn't get from Hal at all that he would fire Boone. He said he's got some serious questions to ask if they don't make the playoffs.
That was the most sensible thing he said, even though it's not what Hal said. At least he was doing some interpretation there. There's something, but the other stuff was nonsense.
So you think there's hallucinogens involved?
Yeah, maybe he was doing ayahuasca and smoking out of an apple with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I even without Judge, listen, he's not going to be out for the whole year, guys. I still think there's a good chance they can make the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be the first wild card, but they could still get him.
You know how hard it is for them to win games on these last two games.
But they did win the last 2 games because they got excellent pitching. I mean, right now the Yankees are the second wild card.
They got excellent pitching against a dreadful offensive team.
But you're not going to have to worry about it. He's not going to be out for the year. And listen, Hal said there'd be serious questions. He didn't say that he would start firing people. He's not going to go from loving Boone and Cashman to if they don't make it to the league championship series or miss the playoffs, he's all of a sudden going to fall out in love with them. He just will ask serious questions, and maybe they will have to make some changes to the roster, or he might have a little bit more say in different things. But I don't get the sense he's got any kind of an appetite to make any kind of catastrophic changes. And again, to that caller earlier in the show, we just beat the Seattle. Who cares? On a Wednesday, before schools are all out, and 41,000 people in the building. I mean, that's what Hal's going to look at. Yeah, there are people that are unhappy. Yeah, there are people that are booing me. There are people calling for my head, Aaron's head, and Brian's head. But, Michael, how many teams, if you listen to some of the callers, are in this kind of serious trouble, and on a Wednesday in June can draw 41,000 people?
Not many.
Doesn't that speak more volumes to Hal than the occasional caller who rips him?
Well, I'm sure it does. I mean, it is a business. Let's go to Diane in Archibald. Diane.
Where's Archibald?
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Where is Archibald?
It's about 10 minutes past Scranton.
Okay. What's up, Diane?
My husband and I watch you guys every day. I'm nervous, but I'm so excited to be talking to you.
Don't be nervous. What's up?
I have to say something about the Aaron Rodgers statement, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I've been sober for about 34 years, and that statement that he made to me was so irresponsible to people that may not even know that they, have that gene in them that they could be addicted to something. And, psychedelics are no joke. I had a friend in high school who, we all used to party, and he used to take the psychedelics and all kinds of stuff. And 5 years later, I graduated from college, and I was in a treatment facility, and I was working with people that were suicide and schizophrenic. And it was the most heartbreaking thing to see my friend there. I was totally shocked. And it was over using psychedelics. And millions of kids look up to Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't a doctor when he was anti-vaxxing, when you guys were calling him a nozzle for it, because that's what he was. And he's not a doctor now. And the fact that he's looked up to by so many kids, it just really upset me. Because I know that, once you start using a drug, whatever it is, there's no guarantee you're going to be able to stop it.
Well,
you know what I mean? You just don't know if you're going to be that addict.
It's all good. It's a good point.
I just had to say something. And I think his ego's out of control.
Well, his ego's out of control. I appreciate your point. But what I would say is, maybe I'm dead wrong on this, what he's talking about are things that are under supervision, things that are alternatives to the drugs that a lot of football players take. I mean, there's serious issues right now with opioids that are given to NFL players because of pain, and they're trying to find alternative ways to be able to have that pain subside without having over-the-counter drugs that are given to them by their trainers, that they could be just as addictive and just as dangerous.
Yeah, but he's not talking about that, Don. He's talking about like getting in touch with your mind. I mean, he's talking about drugs. Well, he said that they should be legalized, so they're not legal.
I mean, listen, I hear the caller's point. Obviously,
yes.
I take addiction super seriously. Totally was a logical call. Point guard nominee, in my opinion. But I also, we got more than Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, drugs are being decriminalized and legitimized by the government, by parents. There's so many things that we have to deal with in that I think are much more impactful directly on kids. But I do hear what she's saying. I mean, I certainly understand where she's coming from.
All right, the all-new Genesis of White Plains, proud member of the Pepe Auto Group, is now open at 300 Central Avenue in
Em mới sinh ra đời, ngày anh bố ơi, em cũng vừa đổi mới.
Super, what we doing, boy?
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
And Mom and Dad?
Don't worry, they'll be there.
Happy anniversary.
Make your summer special during the Kia Summer Sales Event with a dependable SUV or a powerful sedan. Lease a new 2023 EV6 Win for $499 a month.
Ever wonder why Kit Kats are so delightfully crispy? There's your answer. 1, 2, 3. Tasty wafers covered in creamy milk chocolate. Isn't it nice wafers are having their moment? Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Add mint to the moment with Mint Duos.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive contains ALA to relieve nerve aches and B-complex vitamins to fortify healthy nerves. Try Nervive and try Nervive Pain Relieving Roll-On.
Let's let Sam know about something even more urgent than his morning coffee. Hey, Sam, did you know it's kitten season? Right now, thousands of kittens are in shelters across the nation, and they're in need of love and care. When there are too many kittens in shelters, they aren't able to receive the individual attention they so desperately need. That's where you come in. By fostering a kitten, you can provide the care they need until they're ready to be adopted. If you foster a kitten, even for a week, you'll be giving them a chance to grow up and find families of their very own. What's in it for you? A kitten will fill your home with joy, your movie night with lots of cuddles, and they'll even help your social posts look way cuter too. And if you foster a kitten, you'll be provided with everything you need to care for your furry friend. You just provide the love. Save some tiny lives. Adopt or foster a kitten today. To learn more about how you can make a life-saving difference, visit bestfriends.org/kittens.
At Domino's, we are obsessed with delivery, and we hate seeing other guys deliver soggy fries. So we took crispy, golden tots.
And we loaded them with pizza toppings. Domino's new loaded tots are made to be delivered.
Pizza and tots. What else could be better than that?
When the details take precedence, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential. And what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
So it's decided. We'll park even deeper into parking spaces so people think they're open.
Surprise! Can't hear you, Jerry.
Sorry. Yeah, can we get a system where when someone's bike is in the shop, then we could borrow someone else's?
No. Or you can get a quote with America's #1 motorcycle insurer and maybe save some money while you're at it.
All in favor of that?
There's a lot of buttons and knobs in here.
Dupixent helps you do more with less asthma and can help you breathe better in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent is an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma that's not for sudden breathing problems. Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Ask your specialist about Dupixent.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next.
If you don't pick one,
Am I keeping you from your job? Next. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Your electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
What is your healing power? Helping veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, depression, anxiety, or loneliness? Is your healing power a simple, heartfelt letter or being a volunteer? At healvets.org, you can find out more about the healing power of pen pals, volunteers, and therapy kits. Help Heal Veterans, together with you, has been helping veterans heal. What is your healing power? Find out at healvets.org.
What's up, everybody? Chef Marcus Samuelson here on Home Plate New York on the Yes app. Come on, man, bring it in. Don't be shy.
From pinstripes to chef whites, Yankee stars take to the kitchen and explore some of their favorite New York cuisine.
This is staple. This is what we grew up. This is actually a gourmet version.
Yeah. Plus celebrities, athletes, and icons join Marcus at some of the hottest tables in town.
That's amazing. I'm proud.
Manja. Check out Home Plate New York, streaming now on the Yes app.
In America, millions of people, including children, are facing hunger. I only have $10 in my checking account, but it will be okay. I at least have food because of this pantry. Donna from Washington. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Donna. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Julius Randle. Obi Toppin is a redundant piece who's never going to be used as much as an 8th pick in the draft should be used. Are you keeping Julius Randle? Because if you are, then Obi Toppin is a non-person. As long as you've got this guy who's not going to play and is going to be unhappy, and you have that right now, the window to extend his contract, how much is he going to want? Are you going to pay that to a player who is really a non-player? Do you want to tie up that kind of money in Obi Toppin for a guy who's going to play, what, 18 minutes a game? Is he worth it? They've got to make that decision. So I think he could be a good trade piece. I'm proud, but somewhat shocked. I didn't know if that was a point guard statement. I thought it was strong, but I didn't think I'd get this award. So I accept humbly, and we'll even try to be better next time.
You earned it, Michael.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Let's go to Myrnis in Florida. Myrnis.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, I just got a quick question, and when I presented it to Anthony, he thought it was an interesting one. Michael, I think, said this week that the Rays have like the best analytics team. Do you guys think that like in the future, teams could trade for like each team's like best MIT analytics guy? Like, do you think that would be something that would come to happening?
It's interesting. I don't know if it could happen. I mean, obviously, teams sign those guys and gals to contracts, and when the contract's up, teams could bid for them and try to steal them away. But in terms of making a trade, I mean, I guess stranger things have happened. They've traded broadcasters before.
Yeah.
Right? Ernie Harwell was traded for a player.
What kind of contracts do they get, Michael?
Oh, some of the MIT people?
Yeah.
Millions of dollars a year.
But how long in the contract? Can you just wait out the contract, or is you guys like?
I guess you can.
Decade-long
I'm sure there's
contract?
also something in there where the team that you're with can match. Yeah, they make good money. I mean, if you're coming out of MIT and you decide to go to a sports team, you probably could name your price in other businesses. So I don't think you're going to go there for $100,000. They make a lot of money. They are coveted. Let's go to Jamie in Lake Grove. Jamie. Hello? No, you have an awful.
Oh, Jamie,
awful line.
why did you do that to us?
But I got a better call for you, Peter. Somebody who loves you. Brandon in Rockland.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good.
First off, I just wanted to say, Peter, man, I've been an avid listener since I was young to Ebro in the morning, man. You bring so much energy to that show, even when it's negative, and you brought that same good energy to this show, man. It's awesome.
Thank you, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure myself. I think it was positive. Just by the tone,
No,
I think it was
positive.
very positive.
It was positive.
The second point I wanted to make, I wanted to agree with you on this Marcus Smart stuff, man. Like, Marcus Smart brings something to the Celtics that you just can't find in some of these average players. The heart, the soul, the mindset, the defensive mindset. And I'm sorry, but you lose twice bringing in a guy like Porzingis. Porzingis hasn't displayed any of those traits. And we're not going to talk about defensively what he brings to them because we already know what Marcus Smart brought to them defensively at the guard position. And honestly, I just don't see any reason to give up a player like Marcus Smart, and it just didn't make sense to me at all.
Well, I mean, Brandon, the bottom line is they obviously coveted this guy. So for them to part with Marcus Smart, they really think Porzingis is the last piece.
But by the way, I mean, just because they coveted him doesn't mean they're right.
No, that's true. I mean, it's always
people
a
covet people all the time, and they get into a relationship, and it's a disaster. I mean, it's hard for me to be what I would consider myself to be a proud adopted New Yorker who lived through Kristaps Porzingis. I was there for it, front row. He was here for a while, guys. He was okay. Then he went to Dallas, and he was pretty good. And then he went to Washington, who's done nothing but playing with Bradley Beal. He's been a 22-point, 23-point guy who plays most of the season. That's enough to make me feel better about giving up your lockdown defender, a guy who is he the perfect natural point guard? No, but he runs a lot of point for this team. He hits big quality threes. Guys, even in getting him back in that series, do you remember the big threes he hit in that conference finals to bring them back against Miami? He's the guy who yells at the team and pulls them in the huddle. Yeah. He's everything. Like, for Kristaps Porzingis, Don, do you feel me? I'm not saying Porzingis can't be good,
it's hard
but for Kristaps Porzingis?
It's hard to put, like, numbers behind what he can mean to a championship-level team. But they haven't won. You got to give to get. They know the team well. But I can understand your apprehension. I certainly can. Beyond the fact that he was your favorite player, there's intangibles that he brought to the table that I'm not sure Porzingis can.
But also, if you were going to try to make me feel better, and on the other end of the deal was even though he's aging, I understand that, even if it was Klay Thompson, right? Like, you're like, we know who this dude is. He's shown us it in big spots over and over and over again. Okay. Kristaps Porzingis, just because the popular conversation in the national basketball media is that now he's really good, I know who he is. He's Kristaps Porzingis.
Goodbye to yes, by the way.
Goodbye.
Yes.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, it's a Yankees batting practice today takeover with Meredith Marakovitz, followed by the pregame show, and then first pitch of the Yankees-Mariners scheduled for a little after 7. For all of us here on the Michael Kay Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Managing my credit card debt was overwhelming. I felt like I was in a race that I couldn't win. I fell backed into a corner, and it just wasn't a good place to be. My name is Carter, and Upstart helped me get rid of that credit card debt with a personal loan. Checking my rate with Upstart was super quick, super easy. It took me a few minutes to get my pre-approval and to get my interest rate. I got my money the next day. I was like...
Easy online borrowing. Personal loans up to $50,000. Go to Upstart.com.
Who is this message for? It's for people age 50 and over. What is it about? It's about guaranteed life insurance at a cost that fits your budget. In fact, it starts as low as $9.95